Chattisfying.
Hello, Mother Funsters, and welcome to episode 13 of Chattisfying, a podcast. I'm just going to leave it at that this time, after all the other times. It's a podcast. There you go. My name is Mellar. I'm joined today by our lovely co-host, the hairy hippo. Outside.
You out-cringe yourself, everyone.
I know, I do it on purpose.
It's amazing. It truly is amazing. I love it. And to be fair, I keep looking at the screen going, when's my cue? When's my cue? And realise there's still a delay on stream. Doesn't help.
Yeah, don't watch it. Don't watch it on stream.
It's not often I come late. So this is nice.
Are you going to say hello, Hippo?
Hi, I'm Hippo.
Hi, Hippo. And
I'm
today,
the hairy one.
Yeah, very hairy. And today we're joined by the amazing Mrs. Freeze, 17.
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Don't forget the 17. The 17 is very important because otherwise you get someone with one follower.
You've no idea. I've been fighting this since the beginning. I will get my name.
Isn't it so much more annoying the fact that they don't even stream?
No, you've no. I have put in paperwork. I have sent emails. I'm like, please let me have my name. Please let me have my name. So we'll see. Pending. That's pending.
Amazing. Well, let's get into it. So, Mrs. Freeze, tell us all about you and your stream.
Hi. You can call me Mrs. Freeze or Freeze. Either is fine. I actually prefer Freeze so much so that my real name, which I don't ever really talk about, but my real name, I don't even like hearing in real life. It sounds ridiculous, but like now anybody that says my real name, I'm like, what? That's not me. That's because I've been Freeze for 3 years, but I do a variety of games. And I typically am streaming in normal work hours for at least the US. I know we have a lot of UK members in the freezer because we stream Monday through Friday around 10 a.m. Eastern. So I don't know what time that is for you guys, but it's like you're either getting off work soon or you're on your way home because I'll have a few people that'll be winding down that live in the UK.
It's 5 o'clock UK time at PM. So that's perfect time for people that just finish in work.
Yeah, so it's made it where I've had a very, very unique audience. There's so many things that like I don't know because I'm ignorant too. I'm not into that country or whatever, and it makes it fun. So the variety is in everything. Games, people, chat, all the things. That's it.
That's it.
Well, did you just mute yourself again?
I feel like we got to
press the button. You've muted. Did you do? What'd you do? What's the button do? What's the button?
The button says
those who haven't noticed, before we do this, he plays with things and breaks it. Okay, and then
I break it first, and then I fix it afterwards. Yeah.
And then he presses buttons again, and I have to make sure he hasn't broken anything.
Hold on.
Okay.
There you go. I can.
What have you done?
See,
What's
Hippo and
different?
Freeze can't hear that, but I've just been pressing the button that says Chattisfying. There you go.
Wow.
I can't
Self-promotion much? God. On your own stream?
But I can do this as well.
Chattisfying.
There you go.
Oh.
I can do it myself.
It's funny. I kept trying to say that word beforehand because my husband was asking me what it was like, what the podcast was called, and they said chattification. And he was like, and I went, I don't know how to say it. Chattification. And I could not say it. So Chattisfying, I remember hearing when I was listening back to some of the old podcasts, and that one's so much easier to say, but the chattification.
Contextual chattification, yeah.
It's a pain in the bum. It really
It is a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Don't. I know what you're thinking, Hippo. Don't.
I don't need to think. I know.
I can read your mind, son.
It's a dark
That's
place. Don't go in
amazing.
there.
Oh, and even Bray said it. Jesus Christ. So
That's funny.
I feel like it would be it would be remiss of me not to make, because you obviously you're giving sort of a bit of a rundown just now. You do quite a lot, not quite so much maybe recently, but you do quite a lot of Zelda content, don't you?
Oh yeah, Yeah, I do. It's really it's weird because I feel like I hyperfixate into just a random normal obsession of mine. Like I've loved Zelda since I was probably 8. It's I think for me that and like Barbie Detective started my obsession with video games and Nancy Drew. So it just became like I just was always like I could play these games, so these are the games I'm going to hold on to the tightest. And I didn't know about randomizers until about 2 years ago.
Same, yeah.
And hearing about it, I was like, there's no way. Why are you messing up my game? I love that game. And you're just spitting on it. And then what's weird is I couldn't watch a randomizer and feel like I was learning anything. If anything, I watched a randomizer and I felt even more discouraged to trying it myself because it just seems so complicated. And it wasn't until I attempted one and I just had to do it. And then I became obsessed. And only recently did I take like a massive break because of burnout and someone in the community that had passed. So it was really hard to keep playing it. But recently I picked it back up again and it's just like it felt in the beginning. It's fun. And essentially what my husband said, it turns out that I just really like puzzles and a randomizer is a puzzle. It's just with my favorite character. I have to figure out what the game's changed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I myself, I love randomizers as well. I prefer watching them to playing them, if I'm honest. But they're good as well. But you do different ones as well because you don't just obviously do the Ocarina of Time ones. You do I've seen Wind Waker and Majora's Mask as well, I think.
Yeah. I think Majora's Mask is probably my favorite game of the series. I used to teeter between Ocarina of Time and Majora's because if it wasn't for Ocarina of Time, I wouldn't have fallen in love with the series and I wouldn't have played Majora's. But I played Majora's and the darkness in Majora's just is so good. And I think that nostalgic feeling transfers over into the rando for me. So when I'm playing Majora's Rando, it just seems so... I don't know. It's just unique, I guess. And I also had been playing an Ocarina of Time Rando for over a year by the time I started Majora's. So it's still fresh and new. So that's probably a lot to do with it. I don't know. I will say though, out of the 3, I hate Wind Waker Rando. There's nothing that triggers me more. I don't understand why. I can have such cute characters in it, but it triggers me the most. I cannot stand it. But I really, really like Majora's and Ocarina.
Just so we're on the same page, though, it's only Wind Waker randomizers you don't like. The original game you go with.
Yeah, I love the original game. That was one of my favorite games. It made me really sad that I didn't like the rando. And I've done the rando thousands of times. I've made it super easy. I've made it nice on me, and it's just... I just suck as a gamer. So hats off to those that can get moves very easily because I cannot.
It's interesting. You say you suck as a gamer. I don't think anyone that and I don't think anyone that can play a Dark Souls game without throwing their controller out the window can consider themselves a bad gamer. How are you doing with your Dark Souls run?
I might be throwing it. I am... Just recently I got to, I guess, I'm in an area where I found this weird worm guy that came out of the ground. I don't know his name. And he ate me, brought me down. I was like praying to this little fire pit. And then he pushed me back up and he's like, go beat these buzzes. So I have, I think, the 4 kings. But the thing that frustrates me with that game isn't the difficulty in gameplay and fighting. I think that that's fun. It's exciting. It's unique, and it makes you feel satisfying when you beat them. The thing that frustrates me is how far in between each fire pit is. So I have to run so far to get back after I die within 2 seconds of getting into a battle. And I'm like, I'm freaking done. I cannot do this again. And it's just, that's making me want to throw the game. It has nothing to do with the gameplay. That's fine.
No, I appreciate anyone who can even start that game, any of those games, because I know that I don't have the patience to even like. I'd get probably about 5 minutes into the game. I'd be like, no, I'm done. This is stupid, because I don't have the patience for that kind of thing. Like you say, like it takes you too far back when you die, and I'm rubbish at video games anyway. I'll just end up just bashing my head against the wall. I wouldn't even try it.
I think the other day I was on stream for 2.5 hours and I went, and we're done. I'm gonna go. I was just so done. I know if I'm not having a good time, I'm not in a good mood. Yes, some of it can be comedic, but then there are times where you're just uncomfortable as the person watching, and you're like, if it's upsetting you this much, don't play the game. And it's like, it's frustrating as a content creator because you want to be able to commit to starting a game and finishing a game because it's a journey. And then there are just some games that you're like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'd rather not.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I do agree with you there. It's good as a streamer to be able to go through a game from start to finish because apart from anything else, it makes the viewers happy. I think viewers do get annoyed if you sort of quit halfway through. But at the same time, you've got to be enjoying it. If the streamer's not enjoying the game, then it isn't going to happen. You know what I mean? Like people might start not appearing because if the streamer's not going to enjoy the game, then they're not really necessarily providing a good stream, and then people might start not appearing. So it's so important to enjoy the game. I mean, I know I kind of somewhat rage quit Borderlands 2 not that long ago. Now I don't dislike the game entirely. I think as a co-op experience, it's really good. I don't think it's very well balanced for a solo experience, and I just got really tilted with it because I was like, this isn't fair. It's not fun. And I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. I was only about an hour and a half into a 6-hour stream as well. I was like, what am I going to do now?
But good for you, though, throwing in the towel and just being like, no, this is not happening today. I think more people need to do that. There's so many games that you just want to be able to like stick with and through because you want, maybe for the audience, because I can tell you that I've had new followers since I've been playing Dark Souls, and the last thing I want to do is like, oh, I get these followers and I'm like, hi, oh my god, welcome in, fuck Dark Souls, and I just throw it away. Then they're like, okay, bye. Like, that's why I came here. Yeah. So my attempt is to like try to satiate it, and I also want to like push my own boundaries and my own patience and my own limits. But yeah, there's some games that like, no, I'll just throw it after a certain, there's seeds that I've done that to now. I'll like wake up to a seed I start a seed, and if I can see what the rules are, I see what's happening, I can be like, nope, I'm not feeling that. I don't want to do that. Nope.
And then you go and do something else.
Yeah, I just like re-roll a seed. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that.
Oh, amazing. Well, what would you say then is your favorite game to stream?
My favorite game to stream, my favorite game to probably stream are randos because I'm trying to think of the best word for it. It's not robotic, but it's so second nature in movement, and a lot of the tricks that I don't tend to have to think about what I'm doing, and it's nice because it allows a lot of ease in conversation. I'm able to read chat the entire time, and then I can even do like fun random tips and tricks that I know that are cheeky or not everybody knows, or somebody might have heard once and they just need to be reshown it. So it's one of those things that I feel most confident playing it, even when I'm playing like garbage. I don't know, there's an air of confidence when I play it that I just feel like, I got this. Like, don't come in here telling me how to play this game. There's zero chance that you're going to. You know what I mean? Any other game, someone could come in and I'm like, yeah, I'm garbage. I know you know everything. And then this one, I'm like, shut the fuck up. I know what I'm doing. I don't need to hear it. In the nicest way possible.
Of course. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What other games are you streaming at the moment?
Currently Dark Souls. I am planning on playing Quarry. Very excited about that one. I love choice-based games because I'm really, really bad about picking decisions. So I will either purposely do an all evil run where I will like kill off everybody's favorite character, or a completely stupid run. Like, what would you do in this scenario? We're going to do the opposite, stuff like that. Or I give it up to chat to vote. So I love games like that, which we'll be starting. And I think... Bloodborne. Someone mentioned Bloodborne. I'd never played it, and it's been recommended quite a lot. So we're going to try out Bloodborne.
I've heard that Bloodborne's like Dark Souls with guns. I'm not really sure how true that is, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah. Something like that, like Dark Souls, but vampires or something. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's cool. It has a pretty lady, so okay. So like, I'm going to try it, but I don't know how well I'll be at the game.
That's good. I mean, there's Ocarina of Time randomizers and Dark Souls feel like very different types of games. So it's it's cool that you've got definitely a very big variety there. And obviously, there's other games that you've played in the past and other games you play in the future, sort of down the line. So, what's your least favorite game that you've tried to stream that you've just been like, this is rubbish?
Oh, I do have a good one for this. When I played through the entire series of Kingdom Hearts, there is, I can't remember if it's Dream Drop or which one it was, but it's all card based. And I wanted to kill everything when I played that game. I could not stand, like, the entire game. I was like, why would they do this? This is the dumbest decision anyone's ever made in a sequel. Like, I just ragged on it the entire time. And apparently it's a very common thing. I didn't, like, you either love it or you hate it. And I was in the group that hated it. I had to practically have one of my mods, shout out to Vice, Digital Vice, who helped me because he's played the game before and he had to build my entire deck because I just could not, like, I was like, well, I'm not playing cards. I just want to hit him with a keyblade. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I'd feel you there. It's frustrating when games put in like a mini game that's completely different from the main game, but then make you play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Chain of memories. Chain of memories. Yeah. No. Chain of nothing. Chain of shit. It was absolute garbage.
Did you
Shout
manage
out
it though?
to the creators. I just could not stand it.
Did you manage it in the end though? Did you manage to complete it or?
I finished it and I said never again. I
Well
was
done.
like, we will never be doing this again. It's that and some of the any turn type based games are really hard for me to play because I feel like I get too distracted or I'm like thinking of other things, and so then by the time my turn comes up I'm like, what is even happening in the story? I don't understand. So yeah, that's
What?
just not, I just don't do well.
Speaking of turn-based games, have you ever played Final Fantasy X?
See, the Final Fantasy stuff I've never played
Never
because
played.
then I saw the fighting style and it was like do, and then they'd be fighting. I'm like, I just want to run in and fight in the middle. I don't want it to stop. Does that make sense? So I've never played it, but somebody mentioned I should play, I think 7 or 8. There's one that's supposedly like really popular.
7.
That's 7.
Yeah.
So I've been told I needed to try 7. I did say that I would try 7 and I would do it without bitching the entire time. I was going to give it a full chance. So I'm going to.
Are you going to stream it?
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. I like that.
I'm so nervous because it's an entire genre of people that have a love for these games, and I do not want to hurt someone's feelings if I don't share that. And I think that's one of the most terrifying things is when you play a game, if you want to be genuine with people, you could really like upset people with your opinions on things.
Yeah. You can have entire arguments about which Final Fantasy game is best.
It's definitely 8. It's fine.
See, that's actually a controversial answer, funny enough.
It's emo Squaller's the best, all right? It's as simple as that. He's a badass.
No, I originally asked that because you mentioned Kingdom Hearts, and my sort of my classic like sort of troll question is it Tidus or Tidus? He's the main character in Final Fantasy.
I said Titus.
Yes.
I said Titus. Is that not it?
Thank you. Right, Ben, are you listening? Ben? See?
I've never heard the name Titus though, and I feel like if somebody named their child Titus, they did that on purpose. Like they chose violence, and Titus is the only way to answer that.
I'm gonna clip
What
that.
do you mean?
It's a fun debate.
Yeah, Ben Frost.
Yeah.
No.
It's a fun debate because even Kingdom Hearts can't decide, because in Kingdom Hearts 1 they say Tidus, but in Kingdom Hearts 2 they say Tidus. So
See, yeah, no, you're not going to win this battle with me. If somebody truly said that something was pronounced Tidus and it didn't spell it as T-dus, no, it doesn't count. It was Tidus, right?
Yeah.
Then no, it's
Titus.
Titus.
Excellent, thank you. Let's get back on topic. So,
Yeah.
get back on topic, Mellar. Come on. So have any ever been a game that you've enjoyed, but your community's just been like, nope?
Nancy Drew. I don't think I necessarily had people that didn't like it, but I would say that my numbers were probably the lowest. And that's how I'll judge my success in whether the audience is enjoying the game as much as I am. I would say Nancy Drew and no, just Nancy Drew in general, because it's such a very, very small niche. I've definitely met people because of that game that I now am like lifelong friends with, but it is a very, very, very small group. And that's what I started out my Twitch doing. I just played that because no one was playing them. And I built a very small community from doing that, but I transitioned from Nancy to Kingdom Hearts, and the difference between the audience of that and something that's way more mainstream. And it was also a really good game of mine, as you can tell with the Keyblade in the back. I was quite obsessed. I noticed the huge difference in just response, in chatters, the views, all of it. It was night and day difference. So, yeah.
Excellent. Would you say that you sort of stream for growth, or do you just do your own thing and see what happens?
In the beginning, I think I really pushed for growth. I think most people try because you have this fire beneath you. You're starting something new and you want to be successful at it, and you want to like prove that you can be that person that just kind of starts it and you're the shining star and you're amazing. And I quickly realized that a lot of growth depended on doing the same types of games or being a certain type of personality or persona, if you will, and that just wasn't me. So I decided probably after the first year of streaming that I was no longer going to keep my viewer count available during stream, and I just would enjoy myself while I streamed. If I was enjoying the game, somebody else would come by, and if like someone made the statement once that you could be the sweetest peach on the tree, but there's always going to be a person that doesn't like peaches. So it doesn't matter how good you are at something or how like much effort and shit that you're putting into something. If somebody just doesn't vibe with you, they don't vibe with you. So it's been easier on my mental health just taking back and being like, this is what I'm doing for me, without compromising all of chat, if that makes sense. Like I'm not naive or ignoring the concept behind streaming. Like I'm streaming relevant things or things that people will enjoy, but I'm doing the things that I enjoy first, and I'm making sure they align with what my community would enjoy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you wouldn't just sort of stream a game that no one else will like that you would like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna stream like Solitaire. I like Solitaire, but there's nothing happening, so it's just kind of like
I've done that.
Would be really
I've
boring.
actually streamed a Solitaire. I've done that. Yeah.
Right. If you have people that hang out, like when I did the Power Wash Simulator, that was for me. Okay, I wanted to do that, and I had 20 random people that wanted to sit there while I cleaned stuff. And
I
you
was
know
one
what?
of those people.
I was like, sweet. Like, I didn't stream that for anybody else. No one asked me to play it. I just was like, I don't want to play Dark Souls today. I want to clean stuff with my power washer. And I did.
It's so satisfying, that game. It's so chill. It's such a brilliant game to have on in the background while you do something else.
Yeah, I think it's just nice because I've had a lot of people tell me now that I'm up in the background while they're at work or doing, so I'm just helping them pass the time.
Yeah.
So because of comments and statements like that, I've really taken them to heart, and that's why I've just decided I'm streaming things that I enjoy or that I'm wanting to play for that day instead of trying to keep myself on a certain schedule like I used to, because it just makes it so much easier on my mental health. It's just so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of because we've talked about games a lot. There's obviously each streamer has their own like sort of bits and pieces surrounding their stream that's like unique to them. So for example, one of the examples for you is the rant screen.
Oh yeah, my rage screen.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, talk us through a little bit of that and the other things that are sort of similar around your stream.
So one of my mods at one point came up with our raid message, which I really like, and that's "Winter has come, prepare to freeze." That was probably one of my favorites. He used to come up with something clever every time, and that one just stuck. So that became the raid message. So it's easy as it's clever, and it doesn't matter what time of the year it is because of my name. And then someone else had come up with, what did they say? It was oh, everything's chill until you start raging. So that became my motto. Everything's chill until I start raging. Don't mind my really dirty mouse pad, but literally like I had stuff put into it merch wise because that's what it was. I would be really chill until I wasn't chill anymore. And so it was such a polar opposite, all the puns intended. And it ended up following suit with my rage screen. And I would utilize my rage screen a lot for, trolls that came in and like, okay, well, if you really want the attention, then there you go. Here's your attention. And I would give back the attention that they're wanting, but do it in my own terms. And yeah, I think it just became the shtick that everything was really chill here. And I always now I'm like, chill vibes required. But 90% of the time I'm in chat, I'm like really pissed at the game I'm playing. So I try to play as chill as possible, but
Well,
it's not.
You can't be angry at the Power Wash Simulator, can you?
You can't. I was so like zoned out. Someone asked me if I was like on cloud 9, if you know what I mean, and I was like, no, I was just enjoying it. Oh, and my mascot is my cat in real life, which has nothing to do with the cold. You would think I would have a penguin or a polar bear. Nope. I have my cat, my orange tabby, Chief. His name's Master Chief. Okay.
Nice.
And so that was his name. And then we have Harley Quinn. She's the other cat. But Chief is I don't care. I play favorites. He's my favorite. And he's an orange tabby and he's so cute. And so we just go by Chief. And I have that as my channel points, is Chief Change. And I just love him. I love him so much.
Oh. Where does the name Mrs. Freeze come from then?
I was obsessed with comics and I really, really love Batman. And Mr. Freeze was one of the coolest villains to me because I really liked the concept behind him trying to find a way to save his wife. Like, he was a villain, but he was trying to do his own, like he had other objectives that he was attempting to do. And I really liked that as a kid. I didn't like the villain, but I was like, well, that's kind of sad. You could let him save his wife. Like, I loved that. So I really liked that. I always thought the Arnold Schwarzenegger version of Mr. Freeze was hilarious. So that stuck in my head with him and his puns. And I grew up in Texas where it was god awful and hot, like ass sweat hot, and I hated it. And we moved up north and I was like, never again, like this is amazing. And so yeah, I only like the cold. And I mean that legitimately. I take cold showers. I only want to go outside in the winter and in the fall. I do not want to go outside in the summer. No, this pale skin, me and the sun, we don't get along. So mortal enemies.
Amazing. I've got more questions, but you got anything, Hippo?
I'm just loving every moment of this, to be fair. It's so good.
I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
And you talking too
Keep
much
going.
on a podcast. What on earth are you thinking? No.
I'm sorry.
Silence. That's it. There's no more talking.
I'm like
another
sweating.
hour. No.
You don't understand. My hands are sweating right now.
Knees weak, arms are heavy.
Perspiring.
Oh my god.
Yes.
No.
Mom's
No.
spaghetti.
Oh, my
Mom's
God.
spaghetti.
So obviously we know that you've got you've got husband, kid. As someone who has wife, kid, how do you sort of juggle the whole having enough time to stream?
Well, I got away with doing it while everybody was out of the house. So my husband works like not 9 to 5, but the typical in the daytime. And Robo goes to school. So during COVID, it came out really, really well because I was home with her. So essentially, this is now my full-time job because it just worked out best that way, especially when they do random days off in school or that it's like, oh, teacher work day and stuff like that. So it's easy, and I usually will end stream either right before or right as she's gotten home. So then my time is always available and open for her, even if I'm still like doing stuff after stream. Because as you know, as a streamer, you're still doing things after you've turned off live. You're not just like sitting in the Raiders part. What is it? The raid channel that you've chosen to go to. You're like wrapping up. You're looking at your stream summary. You're kind of diagnosing how everything went. If you're me, you go back and you listen to like the sound, making sure that nothing got messed up or whatever. So I will be doing that. But she's also pretty independent. I feel very lucky because she's 11. She'll be 12. So I'm ancient and I have a a practical almost teenager, and so everybody we just do our own thing. And then at night we all get together for dinner and we just kind of enjoy relaxing. So I am very lucky that I just happened to start before or after she was like done with toddler stuff and kid stuff, really. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I have a question, but it's nothing to do with your stream.
Okay.
That's how I roll. The lights in the background, are they remote controlled or they just power on off?
Yeah, remote controlled.
Oh, multicolor as well.
Well,
Very fancy.
so I have two different things that go with my remote. I have the light above my head, and that right now that's purple, and it just illuminates better on my hair, so I choose to do it that way.
Gives you the
And
two-tone look, I like it.
yeah, so it's not like light and then blue. And then these, they just go off speed of the light. So my daughter, I actually got her the same set, but she has colorful ones, so they're just multicolored. And then for simplicity's sake, I just made mine look like little snowflakes.
It's a really nice setup, to be fair. It's nice and clean.
Thanks.
I like it. It's good.
It's my femden.
Fender. Oh, I
It's like a man cave, but
My femden. Yeah, I was really happy about it. It was when we got the house, we made a big point that we were very lucky for this. So I understand that how lucky we are to have a house in this economy. But we wanted to make sure that we each had our own space to kind of do things and to have a guest space. And we were very lucky that we got to do that. And after a year of being in the house, we finally got to set everything up, and I will say I spend 90% of my day in this room. So it is dark and nice and cold. And I love it. Yeah. It's cold and and it's weird because I've had people IRL or not. I've had mods that I've met through Twitch that have come out here now and have seen me, and they all get weird about coming into my room. They're like, "It's the other side." I'm like, okay, it's just a room.
It must be a bit weird, actually. I've never really experienced that, but yeah, if you were to go around to like a streamer's house, even if they're a friend, if you went into the streamer, it would be weird, wouldn't it? Because you're so used to seeing it from a certain perspective all the time, and then to suddenly see it from a completely different perspective, it must be weird.
Apparently, which I thought was really weird. Like, I've had someone geek out when they were meeting me in person when I was driving through to get to Texas to visit family, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll stop by, and we can have lunch or something." And like, I thought they were putting it on, and then when I met them in person, they were like, I was like, "What's happening? What's going on?" I am just a normal dude with blue hair. Like, I'm okay. So it was really cute because I've had that happen a few times where I've had somebody like get really excited to meet up in person, and then afterwards they realized I'm just weird and there's nothing different about me. I'm just a normal weirdo. And then I've had people come into my house and they're like, "I didn't know this was on the other side. Oh my gosh, is this where the magic happens? Oh, my Lanta." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's it's just a computer and a webcam." Yep.
I feel like there's a bit more to it than that, but I know what you're saying.
That's how it feels to me. I'm so used to it. I'm like, it's okay. It's not a big deal. But I forget that some people, if they don't do that or if they're never tempted to, it's something unknown to them. So it's a big deal to see the other side of it.
Yeah, it's only a big deal for me to meet people outside, sort of the people that I know online, to actually finally meet them in real life. It's something I haven't done very often. I mean, I met him.
We went to a grave and a church.
Well, we went for a nice walk, didn't we?
It was lovely.
Through the graveyard.
It was flooded the fuck, but it was lovely.
Was it flooded? It floods a lot, to be fair. It's next to the river, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice,
one of the first things I took somebody to, no, I didn't take them. I drove by a grave site, cemetery. And I said, "Did you know there's a difference between a cemetery and a graveyard?" And they were like, "No." And I said, "Yeah, a graveyard is in the back of a tree. It's the yard. It's like a yard. Somebody is there and can maintain it, while a cemetery is maintained by a guy that comes in and he'll just maintain it and leave. So it's its own thing." And the first thing that I said to this person when I picked him up from the airport, and I was like, "This is awkward." And then they were like, "Yeah, my boss said, what if she's a serial killer?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a good thing I'm not." And then like he was like, "Can we take a picture?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Do you want me to hold a knife so like it'll look realistic?" And he was like, "Yeah." So I did. And I was like, so he's come back 2 or 3 times now. So it was a great visit. But I am when you think of people that are socially awkward, that's me. I'm right there.
That's amazing. So, what's next for your channel then? What you got planned in the pipeline? What's the drop?
Well, I think my goal is I want to set up to kind of have a theme like I used to for certain days. So I'm not determining the game, but rather the theme of the week. So Monday starting off could just go back to being what I used to name them. So I used to do like Freeze and Friday, where I would play a randomizer, but I couldn't guarantee what randomizer was going to be. And then I would do whatever Wednesday, and that would be literally whatever game I wanted. It didn't have to be any games in particular. It could just be a random Valorant session or whatever. And then we had Mrs. Mondays, where I did detective games. Oh no, it was Tuesdays. It was Drew's Day Tuesday, and that was Nancy Drew. So I would do my detective games, and it would just be any puzzle type game, like The Room, whatever. So I'm thinking I want to get back into doing that because that made it. I feel like it was a lot more fun for me because it gave me themes to work with rather than specific games. But I also struggle because I really want to be able to just start and finish games. And when you break it up like that, it's so much harder to go back to a game. So that's where I'm really struggling, I guess. It's like I want to go back to having my themes, but then I'm trying to balance that with actually completing games and putting in the time to do so. So it's a forever balance.
So we've talked quite a lot about Twitch. What you do on Twitch. Are you active on any other platforms? Do you sort of create content for any other platforms at all?
I currently upload a lot of my clips to TikTok. I have put a few videos on TikTok that are not related to clips, just like random things like stuff in my house, like Chief. But my goal, I should say, is to start becoming more active in TikTok. And I'm going to be doing lives right before I go live on Twitch, because you can't do it at the same time. For anybody that's curious, if you sign the agreement to affiliate or partner, you can't be on two different streaming platforms doing the same content while you're doing it on Twitch. It's just an agreement that you've made, for anyone that's curious. So what I plan to do is get ready with me, and then people can see behind the scenes of like right before I go live. So it'll be like just normal getting my makeup put together, which a lot of the time when I'm streaming, I'll do like crazy makeup, but then I also do very simple stuff, or I'm literally just rocking in a hoodie and my face is clean and I don't care. But I really feel like it might be nice to start doing Get Ready With Me on TikTok because of the simplicity in their going live feature. It's only for an hour or less. And that would give me something more, but in terms of still putting people towards Twitch, where my main financial gain is coming from, if that makes sense. So like you're getting ready with me here, but now I'm about to go live on Twitch, and so then like, people can transfer over, if that makes sense. So that's my eventual goal, is to start that.
Yeah, I think that's a really great idea, actually. It kind of it's just kind of makes a whole kind of experience of the thing, doesn't it? If someone was to follow you from one to the other, that's a great idea. And there's just quite a few things that I think, like in the terms of service, I think a lot of people don't realise. Like, I was when I very first started my current job, it was really, really quiet, and you can't go on Twitch in the office. So I was really bored, but you can read the terms of service. So I sat and read them, and there's a thing in there, like for example, you can't share it on another platform until at least 24 hours have passed. So you can't even put it up on. You're not even allowed to put it up on YouTube until at least one day has passed since the actual.
You could
broadcast.
place clips, but you can't put the whole video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. There's lots of
Now,
little
how
things
many
like that.
people follow that rule?
Oh God, no. Yeah, I know.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how many things people don't really think about. I've seen people, they will stream a mirror that is reflecting them streaming on Twitch, and they're like, I'm not streaming my content on Twitch, but you can find it on TikTok. You will see someone facing a mirror and it's their phone and then reflecting what's happening. And I'm like, wow, you really went really far to get that viewer. Because it's not really needed.
Well, I was all right. I was reading it and I was like, damn, I didn't even know that. And I was like, well, it always takes me a few days to get it up on YouTube anyway. So.
I don't know if anyone else has this issue, but anytime I try to upload anything past a normal 2 minutes on YouTube, it takes like an entire day to upload. I'm like, okay, well, I guess it'll happen eventually. Like, okay.
There is a feature on Twitch, if you connect YouTube to it, where you can just move it, the whole thing straight from Twitch to YouTube. The problem with that is I like to edit it first.
And I talk to chat a lot. I like interact with chat a lot. And I think the reason I haven't pushed towards YouTube yet is mainly I am dumb and I can't edit for anything. And until I can learn how to do that or make oodles and bajillions of dollars and make other people that could do things and pay them to do it, I would like to cut out every time I stop what I'm doing to talk about something random.
That would take a million years to do that, though.
Can you imagine? Have you been in one of my streams?
Yes.
It would be like the episode would be 10 minutes. That's it. That's it. And but that's what I would want to do. I don't want like random, like, who's Jerry? What are we talking about? You know, if you're watching on YouTube, you have no idea. But then it may be that encourages people to go check out Twitch. I don't know.
No, it's, I do think that I think like a good sort of 80 to even 90% of the stream is the chat and, you know, the streamer. I really feel like, in actual fact, even though the game is kind of the main focal point of the stream, it's really not as important, I think, as a lot of people think it is. Obviously, it is important, but it's the chat is so much more important. I think I remember the first time I ever found my friend Virtue, and I didn't know who he was. We raided into him. He was playing Hollow Knight, and I think I was watching him for about 45 minutes. And in that 45 minutes, I swear to you, he played about maybe 2 minutes of the game. And I loved it. I thought, this is the best streamer I've ever seen. And I just, I think then I'll kind of realise it's really not that important, the game. It's all about the personality, I think, of the streamer, and the game is kind of in the background there to sort of have something to do to a certain degree. I think Hippo agrees as well with that.
Well, I've always treated my stream to be more of a case of just I'm chatting with a bunch of mates and having a laugh, and I'm shit at the game, but I'm still here playing it. But let's just talk about random crap. It's fine, you know. That's usually the situation with mine. And I've always found that more comfortable anyway. I've never been one for want to just sit there in silence and just play a game and hope that me dying is a good skill, you know. Because it's really not. It's not. I'm just crap. I'm just crapping in it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No, definitely. It's definitely social interactions are always great, and I think that's what brings repeat viewership is the fact that they know that they're going to be able to have a conversation with you. And if you're someone whose personality matches with them to a degree, or there's something that is magnetized for them, then it's well worth it. It's great. I've got people who have been with me for years now, and it feels wrong when they're not in stream, and I worry and I go check up and I make sure they're all right because they haven't been in. But it's just, you know, it's just odd moments like that. It's a really nice bond to have. I'm lucky enough to have a small enough viewership that I can remember everyone that comes in and when they came in, and for the most part what game they found me on and stuff like that. It's nice. So yeah, it's cool like that. I love it. It's not having to go out and hang out with friends. I can just hang out with friends with a nice monitor, and the great thing is I don't have to listen to them moan at me, so they can just type it and I can ignore it. It's great. Yeah, you want to bitch at me? I'm not looking at that bit. It's fine.
I think to tack onto that, I think that's what makes it more enjoyable to me than YouTube. And I'm not shitting on YouTube at all. I want everyone to know that they make good money and that's great. It's another platform. However, I think the big difference for myself is, at least for the communities that I've found myself involved in, including my own, I feel chat is 90% of it. And the game is just there as like either a median and a distraction or topic conversation starter, you know, something. But on the opposite end, when I've gone onto YouTube, even when they're live, a lot of it's just the gameplay. And they'll read chat, they might read a few things, but it's really just the gameplay and people trying to help them through the gameplay. And that's fine. That's how some people do it. And there's some really top Twitch streamers that just focus on gameplay and really they can't look at their chat because it's so fast. So I'm not shitting on people that don't necessarily focus on chat, but I do feel that Twitch is superior in their chatting variety than YouTube has allowed themselves to be. Like their emotes and things like that to me is just, it's so cool to see my emote somewhere, and it's not like I don't even realize that this person's in the chat and then they put my emote up and I'm like, oh, you're a freezer? You're a free family member? Like, I just think that's so cute, you know? Like, that's, I don't know. It's things like that. That's cool. That I didn't feel that I experienced on YouTube.
Amen to pretty much everything that you've just said. I don't think I could nod anymore. That's so true. Had, excuse me, some interesting stuff in chat just now. Updating said 1 community, 2 personality, and 3 game, which I really agree with. But then we had Rugmaster say joined a Freezer stream for marbles and stayed for the chat and the laughs, and now I'm a mod for 2 years running, which is amazing, isn't it? That's absolutely fantastic. I have to sort of say, I think you're the only person I ever followed without ever watching any of your content, because you were on Freeze's. Sorry, your Freeze. you were on Moon's. You were on Moon's stream. You did a multi-world with her, and I was like,
that was the worst multi-world
I know,
I've ever
but I
done.
was like, she's so funny.
Jeez, that was the worst one I've ever done. And I tell her so many times that it was great. But like when she went, everything's gonna be shuffled, every entrance. And I was like, okay. And then she says, and it's a multi-world, which means I depend on her as well as she depends on me. And I think I went an entire game with no improvement, no way to continue forward. I just was running in circles.
I remember
And
you
I was like,
in BK mode a lot.
I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. So it was great. It was really good. But I think I met a lot of really fun people from that. I met you. I met quite a few people in her chat just simply from that. And I thought, I was like, dude, this is just for shits and giggles. There's no way that I can even take this seriously.
It was so fun
and
to
because
watch.
she doesn't like to finish a seed in one sitting, because she has a very specific time that she streams and finishes.
I do that
And
too,
let me tell you, I told Moon that I was like, I have never left a seed and come back to have to pick it up again. My memory is shit. I'm gonna open up the seed, and for the first 2 hours, I'm gonna be running around figuring out what I did last time. And that's what I did 3 times in a row. I was like, this is the worst. I was so bad, but it was good. It was good. I mean that in the best way possible. It was fantastic.
Amazing. Oh, I'm glad I followed you.
Here's a random question I've had somebody ask me for people that are curious. Is it hard to maintain my blue hair? Yes. Answer is yes. Do I recommend it? No. No. Unless you're ready to go to debt. Do not dye your hair a crazy color if you're not willing to stay in debt. There you go. That's my PSA for the day.
It's fair enough. I mean, I nearly dyed my hair once, and one of the reasons I didn't was because it was too expensive. That was just once. Just once. So, yeah,
You don't
imagine
even want to
keep
know
doing
what my bill is. It's always 300 plus, because it is a lot to maintain. Because it's not just put the color on top. I'm very lucky. I have blonde hair, so it does cover a lot. But it's re-bleach, blend, then color, then trim. And frankly, I'm pretty sure it's just because I live up north and they want to charge an ass for everything. So
It's probably paying for all the heating because it's so cold up there.
that's what it is. It's all of the heat. They're like, ugh. But yeah, that would be a random question I've had somebody ask before. And I'm like, yes, my hair is indeed blue. You will see it in real life. Anybody that's met me in real life goes, wow, your hair is blue. It really is.
What did they expect?
I have had some people when they met me in person that were like, I just didn't know it was like, I guess they thought it was more muted blue to some extent. And then when they see it, they're like,
Really blue.
that's blue. That's blue.
All right. Let's move on, shall we, to segment 2, which is the stream topic. The stream topic today is all about streamer health. We probably end up speaking mostly, I would imagine, about mental health, but it's in general as well, general health. General thoughts about it, I guess. How to stay healthy, I suppose. And any hot takes, I suppose, if you've got any. And we'll sort of see where the conversation takes us. And we'll sort of give our own opinions first. It's quite a broad topic, but it normally is, and we'll just see where it goes. So, Mrs. Freeze, would you like to start?
Sure. For those that don't know, I'm pretty a huge advocate for mental health, mainly because I suffer with it and have suffered with it for almost my entire life. I didn't realize when I was a teenager that the thoughts of unaliving yourself were not normal. I was just always told that people are angsty teens and that's just what it is. And then I didn't find out until later in life as an adult that there were really people that lived their lives never once thinking about that ever. And I thought, what? What do you mean? You don't constantly on your driving on the road like I could just no, you don't think that? And that's it. That it really is something that people don't really talk about. And I think a lot of reasons that people are afraid to talk about their mental health is because they think or feel if they were to say something that someone would then look at them as less than, or your mental issue must be debilitating every day and they just start treating you differently. And that's not always the case. For myself in particular, just severe depression, mixed with some anxiety and stuff. I'm a very, very, very social butterfly, but I actually hate being social. I do not like it. I would rather sit by myself, be in a room, but I can sell ice to an Eskimo. I'm really good at it, and I know I'm good at it, but that doesn't mean that I enjoy it. And I think one of the biggest things that I get told a lot is there's no way that you can be antisocial or what do they call it? An introvert with how extroverted you are. I'm just good at being extroverted when I need to be, and I choose when doors are closed to just kind of sit by myself and be by myself. But that was very hard for me for a long time because I did it so well, but I didn't understand why I didn't enjoy it, why I could be and talk to people so easily, but have very little care whatsoever. Or I would be like overwhelmed almost. Like I'd have a conversation, I would take all of their stress they just dumped on me, and because they're venting, and I would have to like deal with that for days and kind of like taper off as if I was going through this traumatic event. So things like that would affect me. And it wasn't until I became a mother that I got on antidepressants and my life changed from there. It was like I suddenly realized that what normal thoughts and processes are and what's not normal. I went through really bad postpartum, and that kind of is what triggered me to go get medication. The first medication that I was on, I'm only mentioning the name because of how insane what happened. I was on Wellbutrin. It was one of the safest ones that you can do, and I loved it. I had it 10 plus years ago, and it was fantastic. And then I tapered off, and I was fine. And then I started to go through really bad depression again, and they had started me back on it. And somehow in the decade-long period that I was not on it, it takes 2 weeks to work into your system, and mine worked into my system, and then I started to go an anaphylactic reaction, and it takes another 2 weeks to a month to get out of your system. So it didn't affect me until it was fully integrated, and then my throat was constantly in a state of closing up, and my lungs I had like 20% usage in my lungs. At one point, my lips turned blue, so my husband rushed me to the hospital, and that's when they found out. So they had kept me put a shit ton of Benadryl, everything under the sun to get me back to normal. So there's one point where going in to do my medications, like trying to get my mind back to being okay, my body tries killing itself in doing so. But I didn't let that sway me from not doing it. I went back to my doctor and I was like, well, that didn't work. Let's switch medication, which we did. And it worked okay for the first year. And then I started to get really bad GI upset and vomiting, which are normal side effects that can happen. But it lasted for more than a year. And we just currently switched to a new medication, which is unfortunately doing the same thing. But to put on all of that, because that's a lot of information out in nothing, my mental health got so bad that in order to solve it, then started affecting my physical health. So for the last few months to really the last year, I've had a lot of moments and times where I start stream, or I'm getting ready to start stream, and I'm in the bathroom for 20 minutes throwing up. And when I'm done, I don't want to move, and I'm exhausted, and I don't have the energy. And it really, really sucks because there were certain people that I remember being very close to and telling them, I'm sorry, I'm just really sick to my stomach today. And at one point, someone was like, wow, you're always sick. Like as if I was lying about it. And I think that really like hurt because I felt like do you think this is what I want to do? Do you think me and the toilet are best friends? Because we're not. I don't like that bitch. Every time I have to go see her, I'm like, it's me and you. Let's make this quick. But it's very hard. And to put it in perspective, it's messed with so much that I went to see a movie. We went and saw Jujutsu Kaisen 0 the other day, and the first 20 minutes of the movie, I was in there, I was watching it, and all of a sudden I got really sick and I had to run to the bathroom, so I missed about 20 to 30 minutes of a movie. And this is a ticket that my husband went and bought. So it's really sad, because I feel like if people can't see that you're suffering with something, it's hard to sympathize and empathize with the person. But I've just started to take it one day at a time. And now when people come in, I'm like, I'm feeling better today. Let's stream. And my doctor's aware of this. And for those that are suffering, this isn't necessarily normal. It is normal to go through side effects, but I think that my side effects are a lot more harsh in terms of what my body is handling and not handling, mainly because of what happened with the Wellbutrin. We just don't understand how it all went down and what happened. So, it's weird, because you're going to hear that I will tell people left and right, oh my God, you need to try medication. You should try, even though it tried to kill me. I'm like, no, I'm like the 2%. It doesn't happen. Like, it normally does great things. And I will say, even though I'm dealing with GI stuff and feeling lethargic and out of it and all of that, I don't want to unalive myself. So I would rather deal with the inconvenience physically than the mental toll that I was dealing with mentally. Because it had gotten to the point where every doorway, every car ride, it didn't matter what I did. I wasn't unhappy in my life. I wasn't unhappy with I had the perfect life. I have a husband, a child, everyone's healthy, everyone's happy. It's just chemically, my brain was like, yeah, but, and it's sad, because I had no reason to be sad. And I think that that's, a lot of people will find themselves doing that. There's no reason for them to be sad, so they feel guilty about being depressed, and that's normal. It's okay. So, I'm sorry, that was a very long rant, but that's like, it's a lot.
That's interesting. That sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. You're still puking a lot, throwing up all the time.
Yeah.
But are you going to get like a different medication or something, or are you just putting up with it?
So for now, we're just putting up with it, because I'm not having anxiety, panic attacks like I was right beforehand, which is the reason for the switch. But yeah, I think my doctor's aware. We're just kind of monitoring it. And like he said, it's really hard with my medications, because one of the safest medications that he could have put me on, that I was on previously, suddenly tried to kill me. So he's like, I don't want to play around and keep switching stuff up, and then you potentially have worse issues. But, but in reality, for those that are not aware, that there are definitely times where it looks like I'm fine and I feel fine, and there are people out there that are like that, and literally when I turn off the camera, that silence, that dead, awkward silence, it can be triggering sometimes. And it's like you had all of this activity and action happening in stream, and you're almost like, I don't know if you guys get the same way, but when you're streaming, you're almost so involved into it, and you're reading chat, and you're so like, you're all in the same moment together and you're living it, that when you stop stream, it's so jarring coming back to reality that it takes a second to just kind of like, everybody I just talked to wasn't really here. They were on a screen, but it felt like they were here. And I guess my brain, it's hard to accept that sometimes. It's like, they are real people. But your brain wants to pretend like it wasn't. Like, did you just talk to yourself for 5 hours?
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, the sort of cognitively, the way that I kind of, because I deal with it, I feel like my brain melts a little bit after I've finished streaming. Not immediately, though. I think it's somewhat to do with this, though. It's, I drink a lot of caffeine when I kind of stream, because that's when I'm kind of, exerting myself socially, I suppose, the most. Because you have to be kind of on quite a lot when you stream, and then when you sort of press end stream, you get that sort of moment of, kind of thing, and you're back on your own again. But then by the time I finish my stream, it's quite late, and it's normally about an hour or so. and then because I stopped drinking caffeine as soon as the stream is over. There's normally about an hour, and then the caffeine starts to wear off, and then you can feel it. You can feel your brain, and it just goes, blip, and then I'm gone, and I feel I've just melted, and I just get to this sort of mental state where I just cannot concentrate on anything, and it's just like I don't exist anymore. And I normally just let that go for a couple, sort of for about an hour before I'm sleepy, and then just go to bed. But there's definitely that moment, and I'm normally in someone's stream at the time, and I'm like, and I'm gone, and I just can't. I don't make any sense after that. Like if someone tries to get a coherent thought out of me, it's not happening.
I can see that. I think that's my biggest problem is when I raid someone, it seems like I might raid and run a lot. I keep somebody up lurking, but the reason I'll say I'm going to lurk is because I don't want to be expected to answer anything, if that makes sense. And I feel like it kind of sounds mean saying it out loud, but it's like I've had to be on and active and ready to chat this entire time. And so when I raid, that's the one time like I want to be the person that's lurking in the shadows. Like normal to ask questions like how is stream? How is it? Like that's normal. Okay, that's to me very genuinely like you care about the person that just streamed and asking them how everything is. But you'll notice that I will do the okay, I'm gonna go get food, I'm gonna go pee, but like I keep the stream up and I'm still vibing in there, but I just need that moment of just like separation, like that I can take care of myself, because I will do that. I will just sit there and get lost into someone else's stream and not really get up, move, get blood flowing, you know, do healthier things.
Sort of cognitively, it's quite similar to sort of leaving a party, isn't it? So everything's quite loud in your head, and then all of a sudden it's just off and it's gone, and it's like you've just walked out of a really loud room with lots of people in that you're trying to sort of speak to, and then you leave and it's all quiet and everything's like it's all gone sort of so quickly. It's very sudden.
That is exactly how it is for me when I end stream. Yeah. And I don't know why it's that way. I don't know. It's got to be normal, obviously, but it's very isolating. It's very isolating right afterwards. And I'm very grateful that I have people that I live with, you know, my husband and my daughter. So it's not like I'm ever really isolated, but there is that moment when you end stream and you're just kind of like, you just sit there and you have the raid that's on there. And sometimes I'll mute the tab just because it's just so much noise and I just need a minute. But yeah, there's just that moment of just silence. And I've done the same thing when I'm in a car and it's just me in the car. I won't put music on or anything, and I'll just drive in silence because I feel like I take that for granted. And that's when my brain wants to go to the most triggering things with my mental health. And I feel like exposing myself to that environment and having just pure silence is helpful in getting better about being nicer to myself in the silence. If that makes sense. I think that's why I don't like awkward silence and dead air.
Right.
Because that's when I'm most in my head. And so I'm purposely putting myself into situations now where I am doing that because I want to be better and get better. So hopefully that won't be a problem for me next time. I could just sit there and be like, I like silence. I love listening to my voice.
Do you think maybe the fact that you sort of don't like sort of the awkward silence maybe sort of helps with the streaming thing though, because you always talk.
Yeah, very much so, because I don't understand. I can't comprehend when there is silence on a stream that's not intended. Like I will have moments where I get very, very, very focused in a game, but it's very obvious their tension is in the game. But my everyday normal speech, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just, I've always been that way. If there's something dead silent, I'm like, cool, next topic. Cool, next topic. Like I will just, hey, fun fact, did you know? Like that's just what I do. I probably make it worse, to be honest.
I think it makes for a good stream though, doesn't it? Like from a viewer's perspective.
I would hope so. I would think that I definitely have been told that I could talk to a wall. I could have a whole conversation with the wall and I would be just fine. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I think it helps because when I've had people come in and they've asked for advice before, which I don't know if it's ever real advice that they're looking for, if they're just asking a random question, but I answer it as if you're really asking. And I've had people like, what would you suggest somebody do? And I would tell them, I don't care if there's no one in your chat. Talk as if there is. Constantly talk. You don't have to fill up every second. You can breathe. I have moments where I'm like, like just enjoying the game because that's what I'm playing. But then I just continue to talk about foundation. You got to, even if you're just talking about what you're doing, what is your mindset? Where are you going to go in the game? Stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Is my connection really bad?
I'm not sure if it's on my end though, because you both froze for a second for me, so it might be
Well, I'm
me.
not moving, so that's probably.
Oh,
me.
okay. It might just be
Yeah,
that.
you know, you've done it before, where I just sit perfectly still, and you think I've frozen, but I'm actually still here.
Yeah. I'm closing a
Yeah.
few things on my computer just in case. Yeah, that's all it was. Food for thought. It's always whenever you sort of talk about it, it's always you know, because you've got a very sort of eloquent way of putting it. Because you obviously it's something that you live with and have done for a long time, so you clearly know what you're talking about, and it comes across in the way that you speak about it. It's always really interesting whenever you sort of talk about it. It's one of the many reasons why I'm glad we're talking about it with you. Because we have a different topic every month with different guest. But,
I think the mental health thing, I think a lot of people have been pushing more about it lately, which is awesome. It's great. But you're going to have that pushback, and you might have noticed there's going to be a lot of people that'll say like, oh, everybody is diagnosed with something. Oh, everybody's finding something to diagnose themselves with. Oh, everybody has ADHD. Oh, everybody. And I see and understand the want and the need for people that grew up in the 80s and 90s, specifically, that want answers for their tendencies that were just quirky and weird. They want to have a concrete answer. And unfortunately, I think that now that people are getting those answers, it looks like people are jumping on a bandwagon of wanting to have a problem. But I don't think that that's the issue anymore. I think that more people are just open with the issues they have, that it seems like, oh, everybody has one, but that should tell you how normal it is that there's a mental health problem. Like everybody has something they're suffering with. That doesn't take away from their problem or lessen their problem, but it should make you feel somewhat, I don't want to say included, but you shouldn't feel so isolated or alone because there's so many people suffering from it. And I really think that post-COVID, so many people had to sit back and evaluate who they were as a person because they didn't have the office environment and they didn't have their normal day-to-day activities to distract them. So that was the moment that people had time to sit in a room by themselves. And like I said, when you sit in silence, your brain speaks the loudest. And I think a lot of people discovered a few things they might have shoved to the side that then became more of a problem that they needed to solve. So it's interesting to see, like, publicly commercials and other things being so open about mental health checks. And it's a fresh breath of air, but I really think the reason that there was this as big of a push as there was is because of the timing that COVID had. And our generation, kind of growing up into it, I feel like I'm speaking quite openly about how I feel, at least. I feel like we're a very vocal generation in that we're not afraid to say what we think the problem is. And I admire that about, I'm going to say millennials, but it kind of encompasses a few other generations in between. We're just going to bunch it into millennials. It used to be a derogatory term because it was like, oh, it's just a millennial. And I didn't want to be associated with someone that was a millennial, but I'm starting to notice more and more now that you can call it whatever you want, baby boomers, you know, millennials, Gen Z, Gen X, all that. But I do feel like we're now finally the people going into those positions that make those decisions. And we're just not staying quiet about it anymore because there isn't a reason to stay quiet about it. There's nothing taboo about mental health. There's nothing taboo about physical health. Like, it should just be normal conversation. Like, oh gosh, you're suffering with that. That really sucks. You know, like, you should know that somebody's suffering with something so that you do have that conscientious thought as you're talking to them so that you don't treat them like shit today. They're going through something. Jesus Christ. You should treat people nice anyways, but at least if you're aware this person's having a more difficult time, you can placate the conversation and not be so blunt or crass or whatever, you know, because you're a nice fucking human being and you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a lot of random things in one conversation, but that's how I feel. I feel like mental health it's come a very, very, very long way since the 90s,
Which is
in
good.
particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one thing that you said earlier that I just wanted to sort of elaborate on, because you said how you were the friend that everyone confided in.
Did I?
Yeah, well, you sort of alluded
Sure.
to it. I'd quite like to sort of, because this is quite interesting, isn't it? Because like, I think if you're the friend that everyone confides in, everyone sort of rants to you, it rubs off on you, doesn't it? It affects
Yeah.
your mental health negatively, doesn't it? So it
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
becomes a bit of an issue.
Yeah, I've done that since I was a kid, so it's almost like I've conditioned myself to it's easier for me to take on other people's problems than it is to deal with my own problem.
Right.
I know that's a problem in itself. I'm very much aware that this is an issue, but it's easier for me to look at someone else's problem and find a solution as unobjectively as possible and it work for them than when it's a problem for myself because I can't be unobjective.
Mm.
I have feelings towards one way or the other or a subject or another. And I don't know, there's an ease to it. But then there's also, like you said, there's that it might be easier to help someone else other problems, but then I take them on and I then become very weighed down. And it is very apparent, I feel, in chat and or when I'm streaming if I'm dealing with something because I just don't hide things. I just will
Talk
tell
about
people how I feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can be coy about a lot of things in certain situations, but I choose not to be coy on my stream because my stream is me. It's just me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's not a persona.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's a show, but it's still a show that you're doing, isn't it? So
Yeah,
still
it's
you.
like I'm still showing the best part of me. It's not like I'm walking around farting and burping. And, well, I still burp, but you know what I mean. Like I'm being nice about it. It's just it's me. I'm not gonna blow wind up your skirt. Like if somebody said something stupid, I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, that sounds stupid. I'm sorry, like, but I know they can be really mean, and that's why I said like I'm either a shot of whiskey or your favorite drink. It's some people can take it and some people cannot. That's okay. I'm not for
Absolutely.
everybody.
That's fair play, I think. All right. Well, do you want to have your go then, Hippo?
Yeah, I was. So this might take a little bit of a downer, so I do apologize now. But first, I just want to say I think that me and you very much have the same characteristics and traits when it comes to the mental health situation. The whole car thing, I get it 100%. I still have it now. When I was in my early 20s, I was put onto citalopram, which is an ED. And it's another one of those, takes a couple of weeks to get into your system and play with you and all that kind of stuff. And it was okay. It numbed me a bit, but it was okay. And then I remember this, I'm no longer on it for this specific reason. And this is not to say that, again, it's very much like the whole 2% thing. It doesn't affect everyone like it. It just happened to me. And I have my own different way of dealing with things now. But I went to a beach with a few friends. We drove down there. And we're all having a swim, and it's all great. It's having a laugh. We're swimming out as far as we can go, enjoying ourselves. And I decide I'm very a swimmer. I'm very good at swimming. Considering I'm a fat hippo, I'm very good at swimming. I'm meant to just
Hippos are
sink
good
and
at
run on the
swimming.
floor. No, they don't swim. They run on the floor and then jump up
okay.
and get air.
I apologise.
Yes, know your facts, sunshine. I also like watermelons, and I only have 4 teeth. Anyway, so we're out swimming, and I decided I want to go have a dive down because I like getting under the water, and it's really refreshing for me. So just bobbing at the top, and I'm swimming down and swimming down and I'm swimming down, and I just get to the point in my mind clips goes, I'm just going to swim to the bottom, and if I don't come back, it's fine. And I did, and I swam as far down as I possibly could, and then we're going like meters and meters down. And my friends had to dive down and grab me by my feet as I'm swimming down. I'm going proper straight down and try and pull me back up because I was just like, I clicked. I'm going to go down. It doesn't matter. If I unalive, that's fine. I got to the bottom though. That's fine for me. It's like some kind of weird like ADHD kind of thing. Like I had to get down to the bottom. It was it. And it turns out that what happens is you just don't care. You don't care anymore. But it's fine. If I'm unalive, it's great. If I am, I'm okay. It's okay. Either way, it's all gravy. I find not being on it anymore, I care more about not unaliving because I don't want to let down other people, regardless of my own issues. And I have a lot of issues. You can't look like me and sound like me and be like me without having issues. It's perfect. Also, very much a confidant for everyone as well. 100%. I'm what everyone comes to. I take it all in. I would more than happily rather deal with them than share my own though. Which is strange because when I'm on stream, it's open book. But when it comes off, and it goes down to the whole like wind down situation of the stream, when it comes off, I turn it off, and I'm in my head, and I can't do the silence, so I put music on. Music and Spotify is my tool. If I get through really dark periods, Mellar, you know, I vanish on days on end, and I will literally just be music on, listen to. It could be ABBA or Slipknot. It could be whatever. I will listen to my randomness and enjoy the fact that I've got something going on in my head that keeps the voices away. Is essentially what it is, and it's not like, you know, hi, I'm Chucky or anything like that. It's just like, what if? And then what ifs? What if I didn't do that? And what if I did do that? What would happen with this? And then I overthink. Unfortunately, without trying to sound terrible in this one, it's a higher IQ person kind of thing, because your brain's in a sense of where it just wants to keep clogging away and keep going, which is probably why you really enjoy puzzles. Yeah, because you are focused, you have to things, your brain's doing things.
That's the only thing that's on my mind when I do a puzzle is the puzzle. That's the one time that I have no other thoughts in my head. But you'll notice in the middle of conversation, I will forget what I'm talking about. In the middle of conversation, because I'm like, I wasn't there mentally.
I call that magpie syndrome, where I'm very easily distracted, and I'm like, "Oh, shiny! Yeah, let's do it. I'm up for whatever. Let's talk about that. It's fine. Let's go on a tangent. What were we talking about? Cooking? No. We're on about that random dildo over there. No, it could be anything. You know, it's terrible. But So I took myself off the Satara brand. It's my own choice. They offered me alternatives, and I decided that I'm going to try and do this myself. And I went through the whole, like, I tried meditation for a while and realized that really doesn't help when you have issues with your own voices in your head.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing currently. Let me tell you, that's the struggle. Is I'm like, everybody relax, and my brain's like, did you see that TikTok last night? And I'm like, no, this is not the time. Chicken wing, hot dog. And I'm like, God damn it! I'm like, that's
So my thing is music, or I'll. It's really stupid, but I put Star Trek on because I really love how they are as a society and how I wish they would be, because they tackle everything. Everything is what our time is pretty much resolved, other than the common cold.
That's a chill thing to have in the background. I don't think that's stupid. That's a chill thing to have in the background.
That's so cool. My parents used to always watch Star Trek. So if I had that on the background, that would be like a weird nostalgic feeling. Like I'd be like, hey, there's a Klingon. Look at that guy over there.
I will put, if I feel raunch, I'll put Voyager on. If I want something morally substantial, then I will go with Next Generation. I feel like my mental instabilities is what's made me who I am, which is to be able to combat and tackle pretty much everything except from my own things. I can take anybody's problems on, not a problem at all. I can give concise and I think fairly decent judgmental kind of attitudes to things, and offer some reservations if needed and stuff like that. It's not a problem at all. And I think that's why some people come to my stream, because as much as I am the perverted bastard that just makes a joke about everything, I'm also in their shoes. I have issues, you know, I have problems, and people see me in my highs, and Mellar's probably seen me in a few of my downs on my stream. But they're downs that can still be comedic fun, and it makes me feel better because I have love and friendship from my stream, which is a really, really amazing tool to have. And it sounds really bad to call my viewers a tool, but for my mental capabilities, it's really helpful to have that kind of crutch, essentially, which is to know that if I go on, there's going to be at least one person to come in and say, how you doing? And I'm okay, because I can't deal with that in real life. In real life, it's a barrier wall. You're not going to get much out of me. I will distract you with jokes and random banter and stuff like that. So we can just stay away from me, because I can't deal with me. But on stream, I think because I got the safety of knowing that I have a monitor, and the monitor is my window, so I can talk to you, but you can't get me, is the thing. And it's so great. But I still have people message me from my stream, just, you know, can I ask you about something? You say, absolutely. Hit me with it. I am here 100% for you. I am the agony aunt of the channel. It's fine. I'm here. Just hit for me. And it's nice to have a crutch and be a crutch at the same time, but still have my safety issues as well. Because I'm again with the whole, I can be social as fuck, no problem at all. but I'd much rather be at home or do something by myself or with one or two mates, if need be, once every other month when I don't have to see them that much. That'd be great, But that's what I think. That's what.
That's what I was going to say. That you said earlier that you kind of check out and you just disappear for a little bit. I really feel like not only is that something that I've done before, but I really feel like that's something that has to be mental health related, because I've warned friends that I've had that I've gained within the few years. I'm like, hey, if I ever check out, like you don't hear from me, nothing. It's not that I don't like you. It's not that I don't want to be, it's that I can't describe what it is, but it's this feeling of just like, I just need isolation from everything, everyone. And it's sad because I do think that I've lost a few friends from that, because that's not their style of friendship and it's very hard for them. And I respect that. That's not, that's just who I am. I check out. But I wanted to tack on to that. You'd mentioned that, Hippo, and I think that was a really good point. And I don't want to say that that's necessarily indeed mental health related, but I do feel like there's got to be similarities with that in terms of kind of how we both have expressed how we think anyways. And maybe everybody does that at the end of the day, but no one ever really talks about it, so I wouldn't know. I know the people that do talk about it, and usually the people that have told me that they've done that, I have a lot of other things in common with them about mental health struggles. So I just like that.
Yeah,
I think that the one thing I can't remember what it's exactly called. I think it's called like is it an Albert glass or an Albert drop or something like that? I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but if you do like when somebody, I will get to my point on it, I promise. But if you get, if you're heating up glass and it's that nice liquidy red kind of glowy thing, and you put a drop into water, it will basically harden straight away and leave like a long tail. Basically looks like a glass sperm. It's really cool. Don't swallow it. It's not good for you. It doesn't have the protein and minerals like you expect. However, you can smack the bulbous part of it to fucking high hell and it will not crack at all. It'll take all the beating you want in the world. You can even shoot a bullet at it and it will not shatter. It's amazing. But if you cut the tip off, it explodes. And what I think with that one is the fact that we are pretty much similar to that. In front of us, we can take everything on, not a problem at all. But if somebody comes around our defenses and just snips the tail, I think shattering is very apt, because I will vanish off. And it's a really cool Prince Rupert's drop. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's an amazing thing. Well worth googling. It's fascinating. But you kick the shit out of it and it will not shatter. But you get to one point and get to, which is the tip, it will just explode and it will into a billion pieces. And that's pretty much exactly how I feel most of the time.
Interesting.
And that's pretty not just much in the bedroom as well, Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. When you said it gets
I could see your face. I could see your face, and I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to leave it on a little long, because I don't normally last this long. Look, I'm not that long in the bedroom. Let me do it in the conversation. Okay? It's all about the foreplay, baby.
IRL, real time. Let's go.
High five. Yeah.
Did it.
I do think that streaming, especially when you're sort of, like you said, Mrs. Freeze, an introvert, I think it has a level in terms of, being social that I think appeals to introverts quite well, because you get to sort of have that, being social kind of thing. But it doesn't like completely drain your social batteries like an actual meeting with people would. I remember speaking to someone before and they were like, I like it because I'm kind of an introvert, but I like speaking to people, but it doesn't drain my batteries quite so fast, so I can do it for longer.
I feel like it's a matter of control. And it doesn't have to be a negative connotation to control, but it's the idea that you control the conversation from start to finish, right? So you're the face, you're the voice, you're the one that everyone's literally looking at. They can look at chat, you can type in chat, but you can type in anyone's chat. They're there because they want to have a conversation with you, and that's fine. Or you can have a conversation with the entire group. But if you don't like where the conversation's going, you can stop it.
Yeah.
You have the power to stop it. And I don't think that that's a problem. I feel like that's somewhat, I am a huge control freak, and that I just don't do well when other people are making decisions. Even though I don't like making decisions, I don't do well with other people making my decisions. It just, I don't like it. I don't like surprises. Like, that's one big thing. I hate surprises. I don't like being surprised. I don't like birthday party, like, oh my God, it's so fun. Fuck you. I don't like surprises because I like to be able to plan everything from A to Z for the possibilities of what could go wrong. And for me in particular, I feel like I have control over streams. So if things took a really dark corner or turn and banning somebody didn't work, I can just be like, I'm out. See you never, and shut down and like turn away from my stream. And it's like I've stopped the conversation entirely. I don't have to answer these questions or do whatever. But in person, if someone makes me uncomfortable, I can't just be like, bye. I can, but they're still there. It's still awkward. And there's a lot more like, you gotta have bigger balls to do that. And sometimes I don't feel like whipping those out. I just want to leave those in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have the awkward conversation with my friend's mom that like wants to talk to me about her life. Like, I'm like, that's cool. I'm gonna go. Like, it's awkward, but in chat I can be like, that's cool. So, and I can change the subject so easily. I feel like that's got to be part of it. That's got to be a reason that there's an allurement to it.
Absolutely.
So, in terms of driving off from the mental health things, I'll go for the slightly more physical side of things now. This has been mentioned a few times on Chattisfying. That's on contextual chattification because I can say that. But
you nearly didn't.
just throwing that there, just about, almost 98% there. I'm getting there. But no, on Chattisfying I mentioned it a few times. So, in the early days of the the COVID pandemic, I got it March a couple of years ago. Basically, I was sharing a house with my cousin. He needed a place, and my old man. So we kind of freewayed the house as such. So it was just a bigger place for us all to live in. He fell with it first. My father fell with it second. I fell with it last. Luckily, as an introverted person that I am, I pretty much confine myself into my room and nobody fucking comes in. But apparently the bugs do, and I caught it. So my cousin was hospitalized, but he survived, which is great. My dad basically just had a cold, which was really annoying. And I went from, I'm not feeling well today, guys, on chat. But I need to eat something, so I'm going to order something. And then they decided to donate money for a pizza. And the pizza arrived. I ate half a slice and then kind of like, can't do this anymore. And then I was gone for about 10 days. And in that 10 days, I went from, I know you don't do stones and stuff like that, so I'm trying to do the best one. I basically lost 18 pounds in 10 days.
Not
9 kilos.
Great side effects, but really unhealthy.
It's amazing. Yeah, so I basically went to 16 stone. Mellar is where I went from 17 and some change. And after that, I was very fatigued and I had no energy whatsoever, and I ached and I didn't feel right. Like I'd lost someone took a piece out of me of my jigsaw puzzle. Essentially, is what it felt like. Which then, so I going to get back onto streaming, and I started streaming again, and I was like, I don't have the longevity that I used to do. I used to do 3-hour streams 4 nights a week. I can't do it. So I went down to 3 days a week, and then it became 2 days a week. Then the 2 days a week became 2 hours on the 2 days. And then it became, I can't do this. I want to do this. I can't do it. I'm coming back from work, and I don't know if it's a work thing, because work's definitely gotten harder because I work in transportation. So logistics is a right pain in the ass to deal with when you have, in the UK side of things, we had a Brexit to deal with, we had a COVID pandemic, and then we had our foreign drivers going back to their countries because there's a pandemic and they don't know if they're going to survive and see their parents and families and all that kind of stuff, which is understandable. And so there's more pressure on my drivers that I have left remaining and stuff like that. And it was very difficult. But also in that time, I was put on furlough. So if you don't know what furlough was, basically the government said, if you can't afford to keep your workers, send them home. We'll pay 80% of your bill. And I got paid 80% of my wages, which is great. And I did a total of 7 months on it, split though. So I did a 4-month stint to start off with, and it was great initially because I was like, fuck yes. And this is before I became ill. So I was put on furlough week before my cousin fell ill, and I fell ill about 2.5 weeks after he basically recovered essentially. So about a month. So I'm playing games like a motherfucker. I am streaming like a bitch. It's like, let's do 10-hour streams. Let's do it. I feel like a real streamer. This is amazing. I'm a real boy. And I was really enjoying it, and it was great. And then I fell ill, and I came out of it, and I was like, I can't do this, can't do that. So I'm just lying there. My Star Trek's on, my music on, all that kind of stuff. Whatever I can do to survive is bloody marvelous. And then I started becoming nocturnal because most of my friends are predominantly American. I play World of Warcraft on American servers. So now I'm able to raid with them. They start at 10 p.m. at night. That's 3 a.m. for me. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to raid till 5 a.m. with them. And then I was pretty much completely nocturnal. And then work went, oh, by the way, you're coming in tomorrow. So, okay, this is great. Sure, I'm going to have notice on this, but never mind. So I come back into work, and I'm back in. They brought me in for a month, and they're like, no, we don't need you anymore. Go back on furlough. So I'm back on furlough, and I'm like, what am I doing? And I was on furlough for another like 2 months at that point. I'm like, I don't know. And the second time I thought, I'm going to be constructive. I'm going to make YouTube videos because I really enjoy YouTube videos in terms of when I'm alone and by myself, I can just focus on my creativity. So I like playing Minecraft. I like doing World of Warcraft. When I do World of Warcraft videos, I do lore or trivia, random things that, not the big stuff that everybody sees. It's the little shit that people don't really know about and might think, oh, that's kind of interesting. Like the history of centaurs. Where do centaurs come from? Well, they're basically this big rock dude and this big rock person and this fucking horse decided to go boom, and there we go, made centaurs, baby. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I look into the little random things like that random dude over there that you pass every day. Do you know who he is? Well, this is what he's about and stuff like that. And that's what I can't do that on stream because most people aren't really interested in World of Warcraft when I play the stream, but it's something I enjoy. And it's difficult to kind of just go for it. I like to research these things, and it brings me joy to figure these things out and go, okay, I've got an answer to who this fucker was. Now I'm going to make it into a video, and that helps my creativity. When I do Minecraft, I've done a couple of Minecraft mini-series where I basically just started my own thing, and it's nice to be able to plan it out. And then what I would do on the stream, so I just chat with people while I'm gathering the resources and stuff like that, which ultimately is kind of boring for them to watch. But luckily, I'm shit at games, so they come to talk to me anyway. So it's a win. But I went on the second time, and I'm thinking, I'm going to do this. And then I couldn't bring myself to do it. And I couldn't bring myself to stream. And I was gone for about 4 or 5 months now, probably for a while.
Something like that, yeah.
And I just can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm sitting at my desk and I turn the computer on, the light is on, the camera's ready. It's really hot. I'm sweating. Literally right now I'm sweating because the camera light is on me. And before I was fine with it. I could cope with it. Not a problem at all. Now I notice it and it really makes me feel uncomfortable on the camera. So it's not streaming. I love the streaming. It's the willpower to do the streaming is the issue. And I still have it to this day. And it's been like almost 2 years where I still can't. I stream on the odd occasion, which is cool. When I feel comfortable doing it, like if we're doing a raid, because I'm back on the EU side of things, I can do a raid on Classic, and I've got them in my ears, and I've got a tool so people can't hear the Discord because they're really, really bad and disgusting people. So. And then that's my talent, okay? Nobody else can see their talent. That's my talent. No, it's my stream.
I'm the only one that's allowed to be dirty on my stream. Thank you very much.
Yes, exactly. Fuck off, people. Just keep it in my head. You literally are the perversions in my head now. 9 other people just talking bullshit. It's a very Marmite thing is what we like to call it over here. And it's either you love it or hate it. Very much like what you were saying about your statement. Some people either love you or hate you.
Yeah.
Or dislike you. And I'm very much in that boat as well. People who will come to stream and they'll like fucking despise me. I don't know how you like Hippo, and I have viewers who are like advocate for me, and they're like, "Yeah, Team Hippo, let's do this, let's go for it." And then there's other people like, "Fuck this shit, it's a piece of shit, wanker," and that's where I thrive on because I destroy them. Yeah, we were talking about like trolls and stuff like that last one, Mellar, and I was like, I'm quite happy to destroy people, not a problem at all.
Yeah.
If anything, it's more entertainment for my viewers when someone comes in and be a dick because I slay them like a motherfucker. Yeah, like I know how to play D&D or something. But no, at the moment I still struggle with it. I stream when I feel capable of doing so, more so. Mellar's podcast at the moment is a really good like anchor for me because it keeps me being able to know that I can do it if I'm on someone else's stream, so I should be able to do it on my own stream. And constantly in my head is, I'm letting down my viewers, I'm letting down my viewers, I'm letting down my viewers. I need to do it. I need to do it for them because I've always been there for them. And now because I can't fix myself yet properly, there's something still missing. I don't know what it is. It's probably because I've gained weight again. I don't know. It could be any multitude of things. My life is fine. Like, I live financially on the cusp of like fuck. But generally speaking, I'm in a nice house. It's very first worldy problems. Is essentially what it is. But my head
And you
is,
feel guilty. You
Yes.
feel guilty about that
100%.
because you're like, I will say that I am a privileged white woman. I have not felt discriminated against ever. My blue hair is my choice. When people go, I enjoy that. Like, I've never had to worry about really hard things. So it does make me feel like the biggest load of shit to be like, but I'm sad. But I am. I'm sorry. I can't turn my brain off. And I'm not apologizing for that anymore. And I think people need to stop apologizing for that. Like, I'm not saying that I have the worst problem, but I'm saying that my problems for some reason are bad for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sad. There's nothing I can get past that.
Mhm.
You know, I'm just sad.
And I think it's nice that my viewers, for the most part, get it. There are some that probably don't, but that's because I think it's a naivety thing. Where they're somewhat sheltered to a degree, and they've had a very pleasant life and stuff like that, and they don't really experience the chemical imbalance that goes on in my head. Because my head is pretty much like a rave. It can be on these, and I got the highs and lows at the same time. It's crazy, and it does nothing has to trigger it. It just happens where I'll be up in the clouds, enjoying my life to the max, and then within a second, I'm down, and it just nothing's really triggered it. It's a very strange.
I think it's sad too because people don't see, at least people that have dealt with depression for a very long time, mask themselves pretty well. Because the last thing I need to be asked is, "How are you doing?" Because let me tell you, I don't. The same as fucking yesterday. It hasn't changed. Like, I love the want and the willingness to get to know what's going on and to talk about it. I encourage that. I think you should always ask somebody, but as somebody that's suffered with it since I was 12, 13, and I'm 30, it's quite a long time to be going through that and to get the same question. So I just started masking, and my issues became comedy, and my problems became a stick that I just was okay with using, because if I can't laugh at it, if I can't stop it and make something change, I need to laugh at it, right? Yeah. So I used to do the same thing, and I remember she's a mod of mine, but also a really good friend, IRL, Maggie Mayhem. I love her. She's like 10 minutes away from me in real life now, but we worked with each other, and she knew me before I started streaming. And we had a conversation after we had known each other for 2 or 3 years. We were sitting in the car, and she was either just pregnant or hadn't found out she was pregnant yet, but she was a little emotional. That's just to start that conversation off. She was a little emotional. And so we were talking about something, and I said, well, you know, like when you're a teenager and you just want to unalive yourself. And she just stopped and looked at me, and she was like, "Excuse me?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?" And she's like, "No, I've never thought about that." And she was almost like devastated that ever crossed my mind. And I had told her about incidences where I had made an attempt and it had failed. Obviously, I'm still here. Yeah. She just sat there in the car and cried and said to me, "If you had succeeded, I never would have met you." Because I was living in Texas at the time, never would have met her. She's like, "You don't understand how much of an impact you've made on me as a friend." And she had no idea any of this, it was happening inside of me, that I had been dealing with it. And she had told me, I've never in my life just thought of any of that. And it wasn't until after she had her son that she came to me, and she started going through postpartum. And she said, I can see what you're talking about now. She, for her entire life, going through puberty, none of that ever had to experience feeling that dark. So it was unfathomable. She just could not understand when I had this conversation. It was like devastating to her, because she's thinking, "Oh my God, I could have lost this friend." But it wasn't until she went through it herself. And like you were saying, the naivety with it really is a thing. There really are people out there that are so lucky, and they've never had to have these thoughts in their head. They've never had to experience them. And it is truly, ignorance is bliss. And I choose not to get mad at people that don't truly know. and their ignorance can sometimes make very mean comments and mean statements because they don't know. And in some ways, you just have to end those conversations with, I'm just so happy you've never had to deal with this.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I wish that I was like you, because they don't know any better, like they're just like, how could you be that sad? I don't understand. There's an instinct, a part of people that makes you want to live. Like there's an instinctual genetic side of you when you're drowning to get out of the water, to stop drowning. That takes an effort to stop yourself from not trying to get out of the water, right? And that's the difference between someone that's mentally checked out and somebody that hasn't had to deal with that. Their instinct is to keep living because that's what humans do. And it's the opposite for when you're going through, for some people, when you're going through mental health.
Yeah. No, I completely get that. Yeah. Mels, your turn, babe.
Man, I don't even know how to follow on from that. That's wow.
I need chocolate. I know that for a fact.
What, TG chocolate or chocolate the streamer? Although he's not around anymore.
That's fine. I don't mind a bit of that. A nice slab of him right here. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, that's quite interesting.
Sorry, it's really dark.
Yeah, man. It is eye opening because like some of this stuff is something that I've experienced, but I've kind of it's kind of a little bit more new to me, and I've been diagnosed with mild depression. Mild.
Oh.
Which is lovely. So it feels like after everything you guys have said, it's like whoa, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we fucked up.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It sucks. It sucks. Obviously, you guys have had to deal with that, but I mean, from my perspective, like, sort of, I mean, it was one of these sort of conversations I had because I work for like a call center, and they wanted me to work with recently bereaved people, and I was like, no, that's not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to be able to handle that. And it kind of started this conversation off that, one thing led to another and led to another. And I ended up speaking to like a GP, and he asked me loads of questions. He's like, yeah, you're depressed. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. Kind of thing. And it all kind of sort of hit the fan. It was, I don't know whether it was to do with like the lockdown and all this kind of thing. Because to be honest with you, when lockdown happened, I was quite happy. Introvert, gets to stay at home all day, doesn't have to speak to anyone apart from, for phone job. It kind of suited me to in many respects, but it does seem to have affected things, and it all kind of hit the fan. And I just kind of because the conversation we're kind of talking about, obviously in the perspective of streaming. Because I used to, partially because I've got a kid, I've got a full-time job, I've got a wife. I only really stream once a week, for 6 hours every Friday, and because that's when it works for us, kind of thing, But before this all happened, I started doing these little sort of quiet bonus streams on weekdays, and they went pretty well. Nice sort of quiet, chill kind of vibe rather than the kind of slightly more crazy one of a full show. But then I started finding that I just didn't have the energy anymore. You don't have the emotional energy. You get to the end of the day, it's been a long day at work, you come home, you look after the kid, you have to give him a shower, clothe him at the end of the day, put his pajamas on and stuff, read him a bedtime story, put him to bed, and you get to the end of it all, and you're just like, I have absolutely nothing left in me to press the go live button. All I want to do is go to sleep, or at least go to bed and watch something on YouTube that means nothing for an hour, and then go to sleep. And
or rewatch the same show because you know what's coming up and expecting, and there's nothing your brain's getting excited over.
Exactly, It's comfortable. Exactly, and that's kind of where I found myself. But it's very strange because I ended up in cognitive behavioral therapy, but it didn't really help. I think the reason why it didn't help was because I think it's more aimed at people that have slightly more acute depression than I do, and quite a lot of the cognitive behavioral therapy that I did was all like, sort of get yourself back to doing things that you've stopped doing. And I'm like, well, apart from streaming, like bonus streams, I've not stopped doing anything. I still do the things that I've always done because I've got responsibilities. I just don't feel good about it. anymore. You know, a lot of the fun is that kind of thing. You know, when you're depressed, where you do fun things, but you don't feel good. That feel like it's been fun after you finished. All this kind of thing. So it's just it's one of those things. I think that streaming can negatively affect your mental health as well. It depends on how you go about it. And I think I said on a previous stream, I think that like burnout is something that is a bit of a rite of passage for people. I think everyone goes through it. And
I think you need to go through it. You can't really say that you've gone through the ups and downs of streaming until you've gone through that weird burnout where you're deciding what to do, if you're going to go back or turn it off forever, right? Like, I feel like every streamer has been like, F it, I'm just never streaming again. Like,
right.
Yeah.
like, F it, I'm done. Like, yeah.
But also, we sort of were talking earlier about, because I find that in terms of like, the short-term mental health, like how you feel in the moment, I think for me, like, especially because I only really I don't only do once a week as like a long 6-hour show. I do get excited for it, but the sort of hour or two just before the show, and then the hour or two just after the show, those are the worst parts in terms of mental health. Because before the show, quite often I feel kind of anxiety a little bit. I lose my appetite. So quite often before
God, I wish I had that occasions. Losing appetite would be bloody marvellous. Again, just to see my penis once more. Before I die, it would be bloody marvellous.
It's not great because I probably overeat afterwards. But I definitely like quite often, not every time, but I quite often lose my appetite before a stream. I think that's probably anxiety. And that's one of the reasons why I'm always hungry when I stream. Because it's a 6-hour show, which is quite a long time to go without food anyway. And I haven't eaten very well beforehand. And then afterwards, I quite often get that slump after, because during the stream, I mean, I hope my viewers feel the same way, but during the stream, it's easily the best time of the week. I'm having a whale of a time. Like I say, it's a party. It's like being at a party. And when you're at the party, it's always great, isn't it? It's the moment after the party. And then you finish. And that's when the things like the self-doubt creep in. You're like, was that a good stream? Was everyone really having a good time?
Could someone tell that I was annoyed right here? That's my favorite, is thinking back to when I read a conversation in chat and I might have responded one way, but I thought of it another way. And I'm like, oh my God, did I come across like a bitch when I said that?
Right.
Yeah.
You're sitting there like, oh, did I say something wrong? Am I going to get cancelled? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And especially on sort of streams where maybe I mean you do try not to worry about the numbers, absolutely, like because I don't stream for growth or anything other than fun. It is fun, but you do sometimes you sort of sitting there and you're like, oh, nobody followed me that stream, but was I maybe I was doing something wrong, was I being an asshole, that kind of thing. And that's when it really hits you. So it is a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it? The whole streaming thing, it can be, and I don't know. I think a lot of streamers deal with it, and I think a lot of people kind of don't necessarily realize that it's such a universal thing. So many people
really
deal
is.
with it.
And when we say things, I say we collectively. When people say don't focus on numbers, that is not taking away from the fact that I still have that thought in my head. It still bothers me. I'm not saying it's not bothering me. My thing is I'm not going to let it, but like I am making the choice that I don't want it to bother me. So I have to constantly fight my brain like streamers have. Like I saw someone the other day that easily, when I first started following her, she had 500 something people just sitting in her chat watching her do whatever she was doing. She went on a whole hiatus, and after she got back, her numbers are down to 20 or 30 people. And one of the things she said was, it's so hard to continue pressing the go live button because of the numbers. And I'm not denying that I don't look at my numbers eventually, because I do. That would be stupid business wise not to look at my numbers. There's a reason they're there. But I think when people hear don't focus on the numbers, that they think that people are inferring like pretend they're not there. And that's not the case. I think people need to understand, especially if they start out streaming, the numbers are there as a guide to tell you if what you're playing is enjoyable, or, the content that you were talking about today, was it a really fun conversation, like stuff like that. But then you can't focus just on that, because like you said, there are people that have lives outside of Twitch. And the fact that they're choosing their time to come spend, that is a cost of their time that they're choosing to come to my channel. I can't be upset that 20 people decided to come today and only 2 people came the next day. I'm sorry, they have doctor's appointments and work and other, like, they're real people. They're not a number. So it's hard to remember that or keep that in your forethought while you're looking at your numbers for growth within your own content, but, you know, to keep things entertaining at the same time.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. So, yeah, at the moment, I kind of feel like I'm a little bit in between of everything, to be honest with you. Because obviously I've cut a lot of things back. I used to do all these sort of bits and pieces. I used to have like movie nights and stuff, and I cut it all back, and cause I just didn't find that I had the energy at the end of the day. And it's hard to say when that's going to come back. But I myself, I'm like, I feel like I'm a little bit reactive. I'll ride a wave, and I'm having a loft conversion done. I'm having a new studio. I'm like, right, when the new studio comes in, hopefully I'll be, I should be excited about it, right? So
Well,
I'll,
at least from the male perspective, it's shiny new toys.
yeah,
Let's
well,
play.
I'm gonna have a man cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll ride the wave of excitement. I'll see where it takes me. Maybe I'll be able to stream more, and we'll just see if I'm able to keep it up or not, and that kind of thing. But
There's a pill for that now. You know that, don't you?
Thanks.
I heard in the UK it's over the counter now.
Is it really?
It is.
How interesting.
Yeah. I
It really
watched
is.
Rug shows me Naked Attraction because I don't have that here. Apparently it's on
Oh, that's
Channel
a
4 or
show.
I
something.
hate that
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. First off, love that show. Random, love that show. Different bodies going PP's everywhere. It's fantastic. Don't know how this is on regular TV, but I wish I lived in the UK, right? Every commercial is erectile dysfunction. Every commercial. And I finally just went, Rug, do you guys have a problem that we need to talk about? And he said, no, it's just that it became over the counter, so they're advertising it everywhere. I was like, it just seems like there's a problem. It's like every commercial is like, do you feel distant? Hard time keeping it up. I'm like, what? What? But yeah.
I'm proud to say that I've never heard one of these adverts. I don't think. So.
That's just so
I'll send you a
crazy.
link. It's fine. I get them a lot on my
They're
Facebook.
really good. Some of them you're watching it and you're like, what is happening? Why is there a dog and butterflies? And all of a sudden they go erectile dysfunction. And I'm like, what? When were we talking about penises? What? So yeah.
Oh man, that's. I mean, other than that, I mean, like, it's one of those things that I think a lot more people deal with, as we were saying, than I think people realise. And I think it is useful to talk about it. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think what's most important, I think a lot of people go through it that probably should see a professional that don't. So I think that my kind of advice, I suppose, as we're giving advice, is if you feel like you need to see a professional, for God's sake, just please see a professional. And they will basically, like, if you don't need to see a professional, they will tell you. And most of the time, 99% of the time, they will be like, it's really good that you've come to see me. And then
Even
you'll
if it's
actually get
telling
some
you
help.
things that you already knew, sometimes it's nice to have that person tell you, no, that was fucked up. No, that person did something wrong. Because that's like, in particular, I'm only using as an example, but a friend of mine just started seeing therapy. Everything this therapist has said to him is exactly what he has said or someone has told him before. But this is now a professional, someone that went to school, went and studied, that is saying, this is a problem. You're not crazy. Yes, this is a real thing. And they're giving you advice and they give you coping mechanisms. And let me tell you, I am such a therapy advocate. I understand that some people can't do it financially, but there's so many better ways now. They have things on the phone. They have texting so that you don't have to physically talk to anybody. You have ways that you can chat through an IM. There are so many different avenues, so many different ways to pay in terms of how to get coverage. And there's just things where, you know, a helpline, like I'm having a panic attack right now and I need someone to be able to call. There's so many programs now that have probably been around for a long time, but I encourage, if you are having a problem, if you are questioning whether or not your thoughts are sane or normal, going and having a consultation with a therapist is chef's kiss. Just
Amen.
do it. It works.
Amen to that.
Yep.
I think that's probably my 2 cents on the subject. If we got anything more before we move on.
No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
No, I feel like that
Yeah.
horse has been beaten
I
to
mean,
glue.
this saves me at least 50 quid for therapy, so it's all good. Yeah.
I think that's why I have a lot of people come to talk to me. They're like, free therapy session. I'm like,
Yeah.
yay.
Well, we're somewhat lucky in the UK in that we don't have to pay for NHS stuff, but it can be difficult to get. But it's still worth asking the question.
Yeah, my friend that lives in the UK is the one I'm talking about. And he said he was on a list for 9 months waiting, but he found a phone service that allows him to talk to a therapist, and they assign one to you. And one of the first things they said was, how do you want me to talk to you? And he said, I want you to be blunt. I want you to tell me how it is. And they ask that because there are people that they need someone to comfort them, and then there are people that need someone to slap them out of whatever reality they're having into what reality is. And I think that's really, really helpful, because I tell people, shop around for therapists. You're always going to have a few that you don't really mesh with, and there's nothing wrong. Their therapist is not going to be offended. There's nothing wrong with saying your style just doesn't work with mine. Go find another one. It's fine. That's why if people don't vibe with somebody, it's okay. Next. A billion people in this world, you can find somebody.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like that whole thing about 1 in a million, isn't it? If you're 1 in a million, there's thousands of you.
Yeah.
There's 7 billion
1 in a
people
million
in the
isn't all
world.
that great.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes you sound really sad when someone goes, someone told me I was 1 in a million. Yeah. Did they? That's cute.
I should probably just mention, because you've got to practice what you preach, really, haven't you? And obviously, we're advocating therapy. I did say that cognitive behavioural therapy didn't work for me. It works for a lot of people. It just didn't work for me. So don't let that turn you off it. But also, it is worth noting that I am looking at more conventional therapy. I just haven't started it yet. So that is in the pipeline. It is going to happen. It's not that I've just stopped because it didn't work for me. So I just thought I'd mention that. I am practicing what I preach, I promise.
It's hard though, because you can have everything right advice wise, but it's still really hard to follow it. It's like, I'm very much aware of how I can look like an amazing 10-star rated model, but I love pizza. So really, it's like, I know I have all of the right ingredients to do what I need to do, but I don't like it. So I get it. But I think that that's really wise to still state. It's just like with any medications that I mentioned or has been mentioned, whatever, in this podcast, has nothing to do with the medication itself. Every medication has side effects or potential worries, but they also have the reason that they were made is because they do amazing things, and we don't have to suffer and just deal with the problems that our bodies have created. You can get help for them and solve them. So yeah.
Excellent.
And Mel's, I ain't far from you, baby. So if you ever want to be my loving little spoon, I'm happy to maul the shit out of you.
The same goes the other way around, don't forget.
I would happily be the little spoon, but bear in mind, we have met. It's physically not able, but you are more than welcome to wrap around my back. It's fine.
Like a koala, right?
Yeah, baby. Latch on.
Amazing. Well, let's go ahead and we'll flip the coin for segment 3. So we're going to choose whether or not we play contextual chattification or follow, sub, or dip. So contextual chattification is heads, follow, sub, or dip is tails. You
Can
ready?
I just have Mrs. Freeze say that for me, if that's okay? Because I know she really loves saying the 3 words. Go on.
Say it again.
Contextual chattification.
Contextual chattification.
Oh,
There you go. I'll repeat it back to you the same way you say it to me.
You sounded like the Queen just then. That was amazing.
That was quite suave. That was what?
Yeah.
It will only. That's how I did my Ash Ketchum voice, and I was like, "Come on, guys." Oh man, I just listened to Pokemon all growing up, and I'd be like, "Go, Pikachu! Come on, you can do it, Misty."
That is so good. I wish I
I'll
could
just
do
listen to
impressions like that. All I can do is I can do an all right Scouse accent as long as it's in a high register. You know, Pete, how's it going?
That was good. That was good.
I can't see much
I
work.
like that. I can't do that. I can't. I wish I could come up with accents like I say them, but I will say I love listening to different accents and seeing how you guys hold your jaws differently and your tongues differently when you're saying things. I don't know if you've ever seen someone that's from Australia, and I have people that are in my chat from Australia that are gonna come to me, but everything sounds like it's in the back of their jaw and it's sitting almost like in their throat. So their no is like it's like way back there and it doesn't just come out the way it's said. I don't know how to describe it, but I think that's fascinating. I'm obsessed with looking at y'all's mouths entirely. Whenever anybody talks from another country, I'm like, how are you saying that? What are you doing with your mouth? How'd you make that sound?
That's amazing. Good times. Let's flip this coin. Are you ready for this?
Mm?
Go. It's tails. It's time for
Follow Subtle Dip.
Oh.
All right. Well, for anybody who's only listening, because of course it is a podcast, now is a really good time to draw your eyes to the screen because we're going to start watching some clips. So this is Follow Sub or Dip. This is a game where we watch 9 different clips from 3 different streamers. The idea is 3 streamers that we've never even heard of. They're picked somewhat randomly, and we sort of talk about them. So we watch the first 3 clips of the first streamer. We'll watch those 3 clips, and then we'll have a bit of a chat about it, about them, how we feel about them. Then we'll watch the next 3 clips of the next streamer. We'll also have a chat, and we will only decide which one of them we would follow, which one of them we would sub to, and which one we would dip in a sort of metaphorical world at the very end. So it's a little bit like Snog, Marry, Avoid, if you've ever watched that.
I like that you say avoid and not kill. Mine was always, I think it was, well, back in Texas, it was fuck, marry, kill. It was very harsh words.
It's actually a TV show, though, wasn't it? It was a TV show called Snog, Marry, Avoid, I think. So it had to be safe for work because it was a TV show.
Oh, so that's why I changed the words, kill to unalive.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Okay, snog, marry, unalive. Got it. Let's do that. Yeah.
And we'll start on these. We should all have clip number 1 ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, are we ready then? Are we going to watch this?
Yep.
All right, 3,
Aye.
2, 1. Play that clip.
Back offset. Oh,
Yep. Fuck.
Oh, he's got. He kills you so slowly. Can he kill you at all? Coming.
Somebody had to be me. Might as well be me.
Nah, but they're fucking true. Oh, that's so bad. Do you...
Okay. We'll move on to clip number 2. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
Go me. That's what you clean. I could cast my fucking W by the time I land, but like, nope. Just too bad. That was nasty, yeah. I mean, I
Cool. And then we'll watch the 3rd clip. We ready?
Yeah.
All right. 3,
I mean, yes.
2, 1. Play that clip.
Wait, you just win, I think.
No! I should have flashed the cube! DD8 did it, boys!
All right then. Okay, so what do we think? Do you want to go first on this one, Hippo?
Yes. So this is League of Legends.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to really like League of Legends because I only like playing one character.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was the little girl with the teddy bear that just became massive and just like mauled the shit out of things. I very much related to the teddy bear. That's the only reason I really like playing it. But it's very, very clean very clean overlay. There's like nothing other than just the chat, the game, and a really good green screen on him. Actually, I think, well, except from clip 3, but
Hippo, aren't you the person that always says that you don't like the streamer's name on the screen?
yeah, no, I can see the bit at the top.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out the stuff at the top left, but generally, that's kind of it's really nicely put into place where it's barely noticeable.
I agree, actually. Yeah.
It's not. It's just there are some people who have like overlays that have got you've got your boxes around you, which is great, and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. And then they got the massive name in the middle of it, and you're fixating on it. But because that's just like it's just up there, it's not too big. You know, the recent bits, there's nothing really much going on there. It's nice. It's all right. It's not smacking you in the face saying this is my name, love me. You know, it's just. Hey, I'm just this dude here. This is my name at the top. That'll do. It's clean. And to be fair, I think the way he set it up, because he's got the chat, that's the game chat, isn't it? At the bottom left, which is all right. It's nice and clean there. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's ideal for clip purposes. Again, for secondary platforms like TikTok, stuff like that. The YouTube little TikTok equivalent that they have and stuff like that. It's ideal for that kind of thing because. Again, name's not in your face; it's there, but you can see the gameplay. His green screen's really immaculate, and I love his hair.
I was going to say, I like his hair.
I just want. Yes.
Yes.
But
You got hair envy there, Hippo.
Well, I do now, yeah, because I've got no hair left. Yeah, that fucking fell out a while ago. Yeah, I got a little island on my head now. That's all I've got. But no, it's very hard because the clips are so short. It's kind of hard to get a judgment on character. You know, obviously he interacts with his stream. By the way, he's having a conversation, and it's not just like well, in the first couple of clips, it felt like he was conversing with someone in his ear. But then it seemed like in one of the clips, he seemed slightly reactory because he changed his like view, which looks like to go to a different monitor to maybe read his stream or something like that. It's kind of felt like that vibe. So I feel like there is some interactivity there. He obviously enjoys what he does, and that's always a nice, pleasurable thing to see. You know. But other than that, it's a very hard one to get anything out there other than. But it's clean enough. It's very, very, very nice. I love his hair. I want his hair. Just want to play with it.
All right, what do you reckon, Freeze?
Although I've just noticed at the bottom, has he got merch advertisement at the bottom left on the first clip?
I thought so, actually. Yeah.
That
he
or
does,
he's showing what keyboard he's using. I don't know.
ASOS, Gear,
See, again, that's very subtle. I
Crypto.com.
barely noticed that, which is kind of nice. It's not in your face, which is cool.
Yeah, it is quite a clean overlay considering it actually has quite a decent amount of stuff on it. Yeah. So, what do you reckon then, Mrs. Freeze?
So I'm kind of the opposite. I like simplicity a lot, and there's a lot happening in and on the screen for me. I also don't know the game. I'm aware of what the game is. My husband plays it. I've never played it, so I don't know what's going on. So I'm being nitpicky, and for me, I would like to have more direction as far as what he's doing or what he's trying to accomplish, other than beating the thing. But that's me being nitpicky because I wouldn't normally see content that I'm unaware of what the game is.
Yeah.
I love that he was able to get his lighting so seamless that I cannot tell where the green screen starts and ends. I think that's fantastic. And as somebody that has used green screen quite a lot in the past, lighting is so difficult to not make yourself look more grayed out versus the background, or the background be kind of grayed out compared to how crisp you are. And I feel like he did a really good job with that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I didn't really feel that there was a lot of interaction, but there also, like you were saying, Hippo had said, it's such a short, minute time, so I don't know how he actually interacts with chat. In the current clips, I didn't see a lot of interaction. It just seemed more of excitement in the game. And I will say that his expression and excitement when he won in the first or second clip made me smile because he was genuinely happy about it. And I think that's awesome. It doesn't seem like he's playing it because he has to play it. It seems like he genuinely likes the game.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That would be my positives and my negatives.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with you. I think the first two clips, the lighting is really good. Like I say, you can't see the green screen, but also I think he's lit himself really well in order to like see him, especially because like as much as we like his hair, that is so hard to get to chroma key properly and not see like all of the, you know, the bit where the
It gives you a glow normally, doesn't it?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
So the fact that he's managed to make that look good is really impressive. Overall, I quite like his kind of it, it's kind of the quality of everything. My only sort of downside was in terms of the sound. You can hear a lot of sort of keyboard clacking. Maybe a noise gate would have been nice, but
Yes, that was the other thing I was going to mention, the loud keyboard clacking. And this, I have horrible, like my shit makes sound all the time.
Mm.
It is really annoying. That was very annoying. I was like, okay, you're on a keyboard.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Absolutely.
But that was me being nitpicky, but I'm so glad you said that because I thought about that during. I forgot to mention it.
Absolutely. I do think that, I mean, considering some of the other streamers that we've seen in this game, his overlay is actually relatively clean, funny enough. But I completely see what you're saying as well, Mrs. Freeze, that there is, especially in the first clip, quite a lot going on. And I get the feeling that with quite a lot of the times that we play this game, sort of the third clip is the oldest one, the first clip is the newest one, so it does feel like he's gradually adding more and more to the overlay, and it may get to the point in the not too distant future that it's just too much if he keeps adding to it. There's definitely something up with either the camera or the lighting in the third clip, but it's probably an older clip.
Yeah.
But one
That's funny that you mention that because I can see that now. If you look at the third clip compared to just the first one, the overlay is entirely different. Like this is open. It's kind of like all game, and then him, and then the other one is very like, and it's not a bad thing. I think that works for some people. It's good for advertising, brand making. It's on the screen for people to see for a reason. But for myself, I'm very ADD, and I won't be paying attention to what you're saying because I'm like, what is that? What is that? Why is that moving? Like, it's too much. But
yeah.
Now I want to see your past ones.
Yeah.
Because you said this one's clean.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh, God.
I also, one of the reasons why I absolutely adore this game is specifically because you only get to see a really short period of time, so it's quite difficult to sort of just make an informed decision. That's kind of the point of the game. So I do think, because there's not really, I don't see any chat interaction at all. I see a little bit of interaction with Discord, and then I see not so much play-by-play, but he is sort of talking over his play after he's either succeeded or lost. Which is good. It is good that you get the play, but there's a lot of silence. But I feel like it's because I've noticed that all three of these clips are quite clutch moments, and those are the times where it is okay to go quiet, because it's some time where you need full focus in order to be able to basically, you know, succeed. So I would like to see. It would be quite interesting to see what he would be like in a slightly more mundane moment, because you don't get that in any of these three clips. They're all quite clutch moments.
Which makes sense. That's why the clip moments. To get a clip moment that's just normal conversation would be like, which I've have happen in my stream before. I randomly will find a clip that someone's made of me be just talking about something random, and I'm like, what? Who clipped this?
Yeah.
What is this?
But sometimes those kind of more mundane clips are good and can get a lot of views. I should just mention, by the way, because we have. I said earlier, it's not entirely random how we choose these. It's to do with the number of viewers they have at the time that I'm looking for the clips. And Mrs. Freeze chose 20 to 40 viewers, which is the middle bracket. And also the clips are their most clip in the last 30 days, their most viewed clip of all time, and then something near the most viewed clip of all time. And then what happens is, if something is like maybe against TOS or is just really dull, I'll just skip to the next one along. So that's
yeah. That sounds good.
All right. Okay, fantastic. Shall we move on then to clip number 4?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Are we all
Already
ready with
like
this?
the title. Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, so we've got clip number 4 ready. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
And it fucking disappears.
I'm just, I think I can see what's going on. I'm just
Looks
going to
like a
replay that
song.
because it was quite a short clip and I didn't get the audio right. So I'm just going to replay that. 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
And it fucking disappears.
That is the Dark Souls experience. Amazing.
Dark Souls.
We'll move on to clip number 5. And we'll watch it in 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
How old are you? Nothing detected. Nothing was detected. Fuck, dude. She's hunting me! Oh god! It's on the stairs! It's on the stairs! Fuck! It's on the staircase, dude!
Like, why would you do that? Why would you follow the code? There's so many good things I have to say about these clips.
Oh, amazing. Well, we'll move on then to clip number 6. 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
Oh, Fury's getting a buff tomorrow? Nice. Okay. Wait, are there any other changes? To the, like, any other class changes going on? Can you link that? If it's just Fury, then don't bother, but if... Wait, did I just leave?
Reese, have you ever played that? Do you know what's going on
I
there?
played Lich King. That's the one I stopped at. So I just, seeing that reaction alone, I've just had game moments where I've done something stupid and I'm like, yup.
It's like a
You're
roguelike.
like,
You go up
"No."
5 levels, but if you leave, you have to start again.
That's so frustrating.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, so without saying whether you'd follow Sub or Dip, what did you think of that streamer freeze?
I feel like I vibe on the same level of, and I say this very kindly because I am the same, but stupidity and rage at the same time, and like just pure moments that happen in life, like just seems very genuine. I also really like how clean his setup is. It's very clean. Everything is kind of kept into one spot. I'm looking at older clips and I really love the rounded out edges. It's just something different than just the normal cam. It's very subtle, but it adds just enough that you're like, oh, that's nice. And like when he does it in portrait mode or however you want to call it, it's nice because he kind of does the same thing. And I like that the sub counter on the first one is just kind of right above. You're already looking at the camera, so when you look over there, it's a really nice spot to kind of see that that's the goal for the day. So it's not in your face, but it's there. And then looking at the second one, I see stream raiders, and honestly, like the sub goal, latest sub, stuff like that, it's all in one spot. It's very nice, it's detailed, but it's kept in it. It's a little, like, I feel like there's a lot going on in terms of how much information you're putting out there. I think that you could simplify that and just put, like, you know, have it scrolling through your latest sub, your latest whatever, without having all of it listed. But that's nitpicky. And then looking at the last one, I really love the border. I've become more and more of a fan of bordered cams because I feel like you can do a lot to express yourself and kind of your vibe. And I don't know if it was a Halloween theme, but I just really like it. And I like the font used for daily subs 4 out of 5. It's just really nice. And truly a really dumb moment that he didn't rage about. He just kind of went, are you fucking kidding me? Like, and it's just pure gold. I would definitely follow this person.
Amazing.
Definitely.
All right, what would you think then, Hippo?
Do you know what? I think he's hilarious. He seems really cool. So looking at the transitional periods between clips, well, 1 to 3 for him, I loved, again, the whole curved edges thing on the camera border is cool as hell.
Yeah.
I love that. You know, it's sleek. It's nice. And it pops, which is a very strange thing for it to do because it kind of should subtleize it, but it just pops out. And I like the fact that he's used the subs 8 out of 10 bit to like kind of add like a hanging rail on his camera as such, because it's just up there, it's holding it in place. It's kind of cool like that. I also love the fact that him trying to get a new chair is end the arse grapes as a reason.
Yes!
I was going to mention that.
It's just genius.
Yeah.
I love that.
Tamori mentioned it in chat.
Yeah, it's new chair, end the arse grapes. I know the pain, mate. I know the pain. Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
who calls them ass grapes? It's just fantastic.
I'm sure they make a fine wine, but Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
He's obviously a big toy man because like his camera is beautiful quality
Yeah.
in all 3 clips. He's absolutely stunning in all of it, you know, and he's got a really nice headset. He's got a fantastic Game Lab chair. He's got those lovely lights that I think they're amazing, those lights, because they panel on and off, so you can just put in the positions and all. There's money invested in this, which is really nice to see in terms of he's obviously got commitment to it. I'm not saying that you don't have commitment if you don't have the budget for it, but like he's going all in, he's getting all the shiny stuff, but it works with him as well. It's not like you bought all the shiny stuff and hope it's going to make you look good and, you know, pray that it builds your content, because he's obviously creating his own content even by his fuck ups, which is great. You know, the moments we've seen are absolutely iconic moments for any streamer if they get those kind of things. They're just classic golden moments for any streamer, but he's really invested into it, and he's got such pride in his stream as well. You can see there's such pride in it. The way he's transitioned every single one. Like, I got a feeling, and I've never seen the guy, but I feel that he has a setup for I feel like, because World of Warcraft is such an investment game as well, for the most part, that he has a setup like I do, where I have a World of Warcraft overlay.
Yeah.
That camera border is very reminiscent of Torghast and the architectural types of World of Warcraft and that kind of thing. The font is very World of Warcraftian, you know. Is that kind of like a Lovecraftian thing, but World of Warcraftian? Fuck it, it's Azerothian. But so again, he's putting time and investment into something he enjoys.
Small details.
It's wonderful, and the glow and the hue matches the aesthetic of the game as well, you know. Whereas you go on to the second clip, he's got very different colors. It gives that kind of like evening aura about it, because he's playing Phasmophobia. There's a lot of thought in all of it, from what I'm gathering, and it's really cool. The whole, I really don't, I'm not one for the whole like latest subs and latest things, but if you can make a gimmick out of it, like the arse scrapes and stuff, that's marvelous. In the second clip with the whole at the top left thing, yes, it's great, it's in the top left, but I don't really like seeing it. Some people wear it as like a you know, this is my goal, let's get this done kind of thing, whereas I think he wears it more like a badge of honor. I feel that's where he's doing with it, because he's put care of detail into the whole, like, it's tilted and out a little bit instead of just being flat in your face. He's put time and effort to make sure that you see that, you know, you guys are here, you know. Which is that's cool. It's overall it's a very slick stream. I like it.
Amazing. Just before I go, sorry, you finished? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, shut me up. It's fine. You know.
You sure you finished?
Yeah, you're definitely the dominant in the relationship, I can tell.
You know it. Just before I go into sort of my thought, I just want to double check something with you guys. So, you know, these because at first when I look at the lights in the background, and they are all 3, has he got like a blurring effect going on, or is that actually what the lights just look like? Because they look like
camera's
blurred.
focused on him, isn't it?
Yeah, he probably has a DSLR or a really good program that can do the same thing, but it blurs, it just puts you in focus, so it makes it to where the eye draws into you. But his setup is it's kind of like how I do my starry lights. If I do a blurry background, it makes it more whimsical looking, and it's kind of magical versus just a blurry background.
so just to clarify, because I can't quite tell, the lights are actually slightly out of focus on the thing. It's not just how the lights look, because I think they look amazing, and I think they look amazing with that effect, whatever it is, this sort of out of focus, and you can tell, like you say, so much thought has been put into it, because you sort of mentioned how he's clearly likes you sort of splash the cash to a certain degree, and I do think that sometimes you do get it where sort of people sometimes splash the cash before they're necessarily ready, and they don't necessarily use the new piece of equipment to its full sort of ability, and it's maybe not worth them going ahead and splashing all that money. But with this, you can kind of tell that he's like, he knows what he's doing, and he's sort of spent quite a lot of money, but he's then used that to make a really good kind of sort of experience for the viewers. And like you say, I didn't notice it at first, but the fact that I do think it does seem like the lights are themed towards the stream, which is incredible, because that really sort of shows a really kind of fine sort of thought that's gone into literally everything on the stream. Also, absolutely love the fact that all 3 of these clips are so entirely different. They're completely different games. They're completely different feels, and yet they're all entertaining.
Yeah.
You literally get a rage, a scare, and oh my god, I'm a dumbass kind of moment.
Which I think that he could have hammed it up with that one that, you know, he messed up and had to do 5 levels again.
Yeah.
But that looked like genuine pain. That looked like genuine. No.
You'll get
And
that
you know
on my
his
stream,
viewers
by the
love
way, all
every
the
moment
time.
of it as well.
You get that on my stream all the time, but not so much the other two. I get the, oh shit, I'm an idiot moment pretty much every stream. But no, I absolutely really adored pretty much all of those clips. Really, again, the lighting, immaculate, the sounds. I mean, the only thing was when he was screaming, I think maybe his compressor could do with a little bit of fine tuning, but other than that, really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very happy. Shall we move on then to clip number 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. So clip number 7 in 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
Ladder right here. Okay. Gotcha. Well.
It's that Dark Souls experience.
That fucking feeling, man.
You can kind of tell that if he hadn't have laughed, he probably would have cried, right?
Yeah. He was just like, I can't. I cannot.
All right, we'll move on to number 8. 3, 2, 1. Play that clip. And then finally, clip number 9. 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
All I want for Christmas is my amen, no. My amen, no. My amen, no. Gee, if I could only have my amen, no. Then I could wish you Merry Christmas.
I feel like the second and third clips there had very similar vibes.
Yeah.
Amazing. So again, without saying whether you'd follow, sub, or dip, because we're not quite there yet. What did you think of that stream of Mrs. Freeze?
He was just very quiet. Very, very quiet, but he had a lot of expression in not a lot of movements. So it was very like he's naturally funny, if that makes sense. And I think that he knows he's naturally funny and he can use that to his advantage. But I would have liked to have more commentary. Maybe the audio turned up a little bit. Maybe that was kind of off. The first video, if I look back to it, it's easier as it's playing for me. So the screen's doing something weird where
It's airing, isn't it?
It's
like a vertical sync or something going on properly.
Yeah, and I feel like this is stuff that I struggle with where like somehow it just doesn't look the same as it does when I'm playing it. So I don't know what the issue was technically here, but that was kind of weird. It was kind of like looking at an old VHS tape.
Just to clarify, I'm sorry, are you talking about the third clip of the 3?
No, the first one of the
The
three.
first one.
The first one, sorry. Okay.
Yes, if you watch it, you can see that it's got like horizontal stripping going on.
I see it now. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that.
I
And
get
then
that
if
with
you
vertical sync.
if you notice, and this is just to point out the difference in a green screen quality, right? So the green screen looks really good when he is in the camera. The moment he pulls back, you can see how that lighting changes and he kind of like gets washed out almost and starts to like look kind of fake. So I think he has really good lighting for up close. So if there's a way that he can expand that so that he can fully move around and that immersion isn't taken away would be just kind of a nitpicky thing that I think would be really nice. Looking at the stair, not knowing the context as to what was happening, I felt like that video could have been a little shorter in that weird stare, but it made it even funnier because it was just so painfully awkward. I'm trying to rewatch the last one. I personally love The Witcher. And I like his weird song that he's created and the commitment to keep going with the song.
It's a take on All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's I like the commitment. So Yeah, I would say I enjoy, as far as aesthetically going, his stream is extremely clean. It almost could have something added to it if you wanted to, just to separate himself from the billions of other streamers that are out there. I think it's nice that he has his sub and his bits as just the icon. I love that. I like not having to have the words written out. It's really nice just to have that, like, here it is. So it's very nice and it's clean, but improvement wise, I would say just the quality of whatever the game is that you're streaming, making sure that it is doing the same as far as what we can see, and talking a little louder or more would be my only nitpicks.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that. Absolutely. I agree with everything that you've just said. He's very quiet, and when I say quiet, I don't mean that he's not speaking enough. His mic's actually just not loud enough. On the second and third clips. I also do think that on the second and third clips, I think honestly his camera's just a little bit too small for me. I do think that as the the streamer, like we were talking about earlier, is kind of the main focus really. You do obviously need to see the game in all its glory, but the streamer is so important. Really is the most important thing. If you're going to have a cam, obviously there's nothing wrong with having no cam, but if you're going to have a cam, I do think it needs to be a bit bigger than that. But he completely fixes that in the first clip, which again I think is more up to date. And I think honestly, in terms of like cam size and everything, and the way that it's framed in the first clip is perfect. I really like his overlay just in general. It's overall just incredibly clean, especially on the first clip. There's literally, as far as I can see, there's a little death counter in the bottom left. There's him and the game, and that's it. And I like that. That's absolutely fantastic. In terms of actually what's going on, yeah, it's all good. I like how the humor that he took the death in. The second clip, I'd love to know what was happening just before that, because the silence in and of itself is a tiny bit concerning to me. Just purely because there's maybe just a bit too much silence. Maybe that'd be a really good time for some sort of chat, maybe with chat, or saying, okay, well, at the moment we're waiting for this. But then he kind of, he builds on the silence and makes something that's really funny. So that's absolutely fantastic. And then, as Loki said in chat, certainly on the third one, I think the problem with the thing that's going on there is it's a bitrate issue. It looks like my stream used to do before I upgraded my internet. The first clip, though, I have no idea what that sort of line thing's about. I'd love to know what caused that and how it's been fixed. Because
it's not necessarily like you can't watch the game. It's just one of those things that, like, I'm gonna constantly look at it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that? Why is that happening?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that takes away from what you're doing.
For sure. But I think one thing I would say about this the streamer that I really appreciate is it definitely looks like he's sort of putting improvements in. There's definitely a marked improvement between the second and the first. The first, of course, being an improvement, being the better one, in my opinion, which I appreciate a great deal. I also like the fact that he's... Because if you look, I think you should either be looking at the camera, or if you're not going to be looking directly at the camera, you need to be angled as though you're looking at the game, and that's exactly what he's doing there, which is fantastic.
That's a good point. I like that.
Yeah, fantastic. Do you want to go then, Hippo?
So I'm going to be different to you guys, but only marginally. Firstly, I agree with you on the sense that the camera box is a bit too small. It's just a bit too squidged, which is a bit of a shame, really. And I appreciate that he's moving it around depending on which game he's playing.
Yeah, that's good.
But it just feels a little off still. Maybe because it's small, that it just feels like when it's floating up, it's a bit weird floating up in that position there. And then when it's down the bottom, it's too down the bottom.
Yeah,
it's odd. Where I beg to differ is the larger one. Yes, he looks better in the first clip, but if you can't get the green screen right, I'm going to keep looking at its tearing.
Yeah.
And that's then fair. You're too big. Because you're taking focus away from me, and I'm looking at faults, and I don't want to look at faults. I want to be entertained and not go, oh my God. And you've got the screen teary thing, which is one thing. You've got him with the green screen going awry and all that kind of stuff. It's just a little bit smaller. I won't notice it as much, but because you're that big,
yeah,
I notice it a lot more.
But I feel like the fix to that wouldn't be to make yourself smaller; it would be to fix the green screen.
Well, yes, but if he hasn't noticed that, I test my green screen for the most part to make sure it's working. Now I can see I've got thin white lines. I look like I'm slightly outlined on mine at the moment, but for the most part, my green screen's kind of okay. But I do check. I move around a lot and stuff like that. You know,
It's weird because I don't think people think about moving with a green screen, but you really need to put your hand up in front of yourself, move side to side. It's weird, but like doing this can really like show all of the green screen because of the what do they call that? The color correction that you do?
Yeah.
So
setting
I
up.
think the issue he's got is because he's sitting at an angle and he's looking at the game at an angle. He's got the camera at the angle, but I think the light is on his face directly.
Right.
Is where the issue is.
Possibly.
Because my light, because I used to use 2 lights, but I use Swan light now, which works out just about okay. But you can see, like on my hands, you can see the green screen is just slightly connecting when
Did
I'm a
you
little
say
bit
a
too
swan
close.
light? Swan light.
Swan light?
Did you say a swan light, or I'm just hearing things?
Spotlight.
A spotlight. Okay, there we go. I was going to
Well,
ask if
I've
the
got
Queen's
an
okay
umbrella
with this.
spotlight lamp, and it's directly behind my camera.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect the camera, but it's directly on me. Now I used to have 2. I used to have one just there and one just there, but then it kind of get this little weird bit in the middle that it wasn't quite hitting me right. So now I just have the one directly on me, but it's a lot closer to me on this little setup I've got at the moment, whereas it used to be a bit more further away in my old setups. But again, when you got a green screen and you're going to play with a green screen, you got to try and make sure it works as close as you can to seamless. He's nowhere near as good a quality as the first guy. That guy's put a lot of time and effort into that one. Whereas I feel like this guy, if we watched him more, and if this is like a semi-recent but not quite as recent kind of thing, he's probably improved upon it. Because if you're looking back at your VODs like we do and stuff like that, you notice these things and you go, I need to improve this, I need to fix this. And this is where I learned about the whole, like, this is not good for me. Don't move this quick, you know, and it sprays my hand off. But if he's a little bit smaller, then I wouldn't notice it as much. And that's where I would be doing my trial by fire kind of thing. Right. Because my green screen, when I'm playing like World of Warcraft on stream, if you've noticed, Mellar, I'm not as big. I'm down the bottom left. I'm just underneath the chat, and that's kind of ideal for me. But he's very big for not quite getting it just yet.
Okay.
It's just my feel on it. I think like if you're going to go that big, you need to be stream of one guy quality.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Otherwise, you're going to be tearing, and I'm just going to be. I really want to focus on death, and I saw you died, but I'm looking at your hair going grey and weird thing going on. I'm like, okay. It kind of breaks the immersion a little bit too much.
All right.
But not for the one we're trying, because he's obviously vastly improving as he goes on, which is really strange since he has very little to improve on. But drop the camera, the box around the camera. Just let's do the game. It's cool. Yeah. Right. So I don't know. It's and I really like his lumberjack shirt.
I quite like it. So actually,
and he has nice fluffy hair.
Yeah. All right.
But that's with me.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I think we're good then. So it's time for the hammer to fall. We're going to decide which one of these we would follow, which one we would sub, which one we would dip. So, Mrs. Freeze, would you like to go first?
So when you're saying follow, sub, dip, right? In terms of follow would be snog. Sub is like more of a commitment.
The sub is the best one. Follow is the middle one, and then dip is just to leave.
I totally what? That's a different thing entirely.
I just want to make sure that I'm gonna pick the right one. But I know I am already very much aware of which one is which for me.
Okay, go
on. Okay, so the first guy, dip. Just because I don't really play the game, nothing really wrong with him. It's just I don't really vibe on the same level. Second guy, I would definitely sub to. I feel like I would have a lot of laughs, and my money would be going to entertainment entirely. His aesthetic, his background, everything seems that he's putting a lot of effort into it, and he seems to really enjoy what he does. The third, I would definitely follow, just to see and watch the improvement, because I like the personality. I like what they're bringing to the table, and I'm excited to see where their channel gets to as they go along, and just like, well, kind of just see the progression and evolution of their channel. So
absolutely. Yeah. What about you then, Hippo?
I am 100% in agreement, which doesn't surprise me, to be fair. It doesn't surprise me at all.
I have to admit, I thought for a second that you might follow the first guy and dip the third.
I was close to him originally because he seems like a pretty sound guy, but the clips are too short for me to justify a follow.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
Although I might follow him just so I can learn his tricks on green screen. But then
Yeah, he's got some tricks.
Follow straight away and like, yeah, screw you. That's it, I'm done now. You go play your league.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, yeah, I'm definitely 100%. You know, dip the first one, definitely sub the second one. He's just, I think he's one of the best ones we've had.
I agree, actually. Yeah,
like everything, absolutely outstanding. So beautifully clean, such personality,
and the fact that there are such varied clips as well.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Maybe it's because I like variety, but like you gave me so many different things and personalities on top of it. Are you kidding? Yes, here, take my money.
Exactly.
Like, yes.
Amazing, Mellar.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, that's just me. So what's yours, baby?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I really liked the quality of the first streamer, but there was just quite a lot of sort of silence. I'm not that keen on League of Legends, although I try not to let the game make my decision for me. Also, there was a tiny little bit of sort of toxicity I saw in the clips that may turn me off a little bit as well, maybe. The third one is definitely the follow out of the three. There's definitely, like you said, Freeze, there's definitely promise there. I'd love to see how it goes. He seems like a very sort of amiable person, someone who you'd probably be able to have quite a decent conversation with once you're in chat. So I'll definitely follow him. And then, yeah, that second dude, it just ticks pretty much every single box in the game, honestly. And I think there's a certain amount of luck there in the fact that he's got such amazing varied clips. But at the same time, I mean, it isn't just luck. It's the fact that he's clearly got like a great pool to pull from in terms of making clips. So absolutely fantastic. He definitely gets my sub, that second dude. Fantastic.
I thought this was going to be hard when you first mentioned the game. I was like, oh no.
There have been some real hard ones. It really has.
This was very, like, I was like, done, easy.
Yeah.
Yep. No, like that was easy. And not in a mean way. It's just like, that was just, it was so simple. Like you can just know when you vibe with somebody.
Yeah.
And it would have been totally different if you guys were obsessed with League and you're like, no, this guy is top tier moves. Like, did you see that? I don't know. So like, I don't know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just listening, then now is another great time to bring your eyes to the screen because we're now going to play
Contextual chattification.
You love it. This is another sub-game. We're going to watch 3 of Freeze's clips, and I'm going to try and guess what the bloody hell is going on.
Okay.
So...
I never know.
Well, we're going to try and find out. So I've got clip number 1 queued. Are we ready to watch this?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go then. So 3, 2, 1, play that clip.
Wow! It's like Christmas morning. Wow, look at that dead body. At least he left his groceries. It's like the 4th of July. Makes me want a hot dog real bad.
Shot of the chicken standing over the dead body. Dude, this is great.
Okay.
Wow!
What the hell? That's Animal Crossing, but I didn't know Animal Crossing could do that. What the hell? I've only ever created an island on Animal Crossing.
This is a DLC.
Oh, I see. It's you've got the sort of the glitter going over your cam. Is that what you're referring to with the whole 4th of July thing?
Oh no, so this was during winter.
Right.
So I had all of I decided just to put my snap filter up and use for Christmas. So I just was like, oh, there's snow in my room. And this person said they wanted to have their house, this is happy homes, and so you build a theme for their house, and this person wanted to have a roommate, and these 2 people wanted to have an outdoor street like place to live at, and I was like, okay. And so I was like, well, what a perfect way to describe this than with a fresh murder. Like, it's a hit and run. So I came up with a really creative way of coming up with a murder scene. And this is where they live. That's the bed that she sleeps in, next to the body. And yeah. That was how that went.
That is mental. I love it. I think I remember seeing the house on your stream, but I never saw this this scene. That's mad.
This is upstairs. The roommate specifically wanted to live on the streets. So I was like, okay, you're living on the streets.
So
there
the
you
bed is
go.
what the bloodstains. The bloodstain sort of drag on the floor, is it, or is it the car?
So the blood stains on that little bed I drew in the little whatever the creative mode is.
Right.
So I just did a bunch of red blobs, and then because you really have to just work with pixels, and I purchased a car for the inside of that house and made it an entire street. So yeah,
That is amazing.
she was quite happy, and we decided to name it Murder Motel. So. You know,
It's definitely not somewhere I think I'd like to stay, in the Murder Motel.
No.
Amazing. We'll move on to the second clip then. Are we ready?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
I just finished eating some taters. You did not just get finished eating my family.
Excuse
me. I don't think so. Best not eat my potato family. Best not. Best fucking not. I'll fucking fight you. I'll fucking fight you. Deal with it. Deal with it. You had hash browns. You had my family mutilated, and then you spread ketchup on the mutilated body. You sick son of a bitch. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Your family is delicious. Fuck you. I just finished eating some taters. You did.
That is beautiful. I love that. The potato is so emotive. How do you do that?
I was on the snap filter, and before I realized that it really like freaks with your CPU while you're streaming. I had been using it, and I used channel points, and somebody had redeemed Santa potato, and I was like, okay. And I realized when you moved your head, it moved the entire potato. So behind the scenes of me saying this, I looked ridiculous because I was like having to like get really up into camera versus how the potato looks. But yeah.
Do you know what I would love for the snap filter to expire while you're doing that?
Oh, it would have been really weird looking. But yeah, that was just a random. As you can see, I have clips for me talking to people in chat. It has nothing to do with the game.
I mean, in the game, I could see you're going into Jabu's belly and you're Peach.
Yeah.
Cute.
And this is once again a game I can literally just do. I was doing this during the Jacksepticeye Thankmas dono and stuff. But yeah, I think I was just having fun with it. It's just so easy to stream it and be talking about the most random things because I don't even like, I even read a hint and I was able to read this hint and still be having conversation and not forget what I was doing. It's really weird. I don't know why. This is the only game I can do it with though.
I could not do that. I could not do that. I would have not read the hint. I'd have read it, but not taken it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. I love that clip so much. That's so funny. How emotive that damn potato is.
And the little thing moves. It's so cute. It's a good filter. It's a good filter.
Oh man, I never quite figured out Snapchat filters.
It's an app on desktop that you can download. And it's just Snap. I'm pretty sure it's called Snap. What's it called?
Is it like a plugin to OBS
Camera.
Studio?
Yeah, it just picks it up. So as a source, instead of your camera, you just say that your source is Snap Camera. And then it'll take that. And so you'll have the application up in the background, and then you can pick through the filters. And they have a crap ton of filters, and you can favorite filters, which is what I did. And I put in my channel points, like fun names that I could remember which one it was. And then I would do it. And it just made it more interactive.
That's amazing. I love that. Excellent. Well, we'll move on to the last clip then.
Oh, God, this clip.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
What? Okay. Wait. Oh. No? Okay. You don't want that down? Do you want it down here? No? No? Okay. No, it doesn't. It doesn't want to hear. Okay. What? I don't understand. What am I doing wrong? What? What the fuck am I doing? What is happening? Oh, there! Wait! Oh! Oh, okay. What?
I love the fact that he seems to get somewhere and then immediately we're just back to square one.
That clip has the most hate comments that I've ever received on a clip before.
Why?
On TikTok. That is being used as a prime example for women gamers.
Right.
I was told to uninstall the game. Man, you must not know how to tie your shoes. Let me tell you, there are some complicated puzzles that I love and I will solve without batting an eye. But for some reason, this one door, my patience stayed the same. And I just, it's not opening. Weird. It's not opening. Weird. I skipped the dialogue. It was all on me. It's all user error. But I was like, this is clearly how you know that you have moments of just pure stupidity. You can be smart as a whip in a lot of areas in life, and then you just have this.
What are you supposed to do then?
Yeah, so essentially what happens is you're supposed to play with controller. My problem was my controller kept disconnecting because of some technical issues that I was having. So I was playing with mouse and keyboard. Mouse and keyboard, it doesn't shake and vibrate when you get next to this hotspot.
Right.
So the visual cue is turns more red. But I was going around everywhere and I couldn't get this visual cue. So I'm like, okay, I'll hit it here. And you can even see in the clip where I will get a slight visual clue. And I'm like, okay, is it here? No, I don't understand. And then when I get it, I'm like, it worked. Okay. So then I hit it again and it immediately resets it. And I'm like, what the fuck? I did eventually figure it out and then I was fine. But yeah, this is to explain how stupid I can be at the most simple of tasks. But it was prime example. I think it was my most viewed on TikTok, and it's still gaining views. But I had to turn off the comments because my God, I had like 10,000 comments of just people telling me women gamers. It was like, I can't say anything.
Everyone.
I'm a woman. I'm a gamer.
That's for everyone. That's the kind of shit that I would get down to.
Let me tell you, someone can tell me that they don't have stupid moments. They're a liar. Like, they're a straight liar.
Or
but yeah.
they're just playing the same game over and over again.
They just never do anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there's my stupid moment, my turning something into a meme moment, and then my natural dark humor, Murder Motel.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone has their moments. As you say, Moon, I mean, I've been watching you do Breath of the Wild. And it is one of those things, like some of the things that took me ages, you get straight away. And some of the things that I got straight away, you just take ages on. It's just one of those things. Everyone's different.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
But it's funny how ridiculous one moment can turn into. And I would like for a straight, how long's that clip? 57 seconds. That is being cut off. Okay. It kept going. And I refused to look at chat. So looking back, because I can still see some of the comments and they're like, Freeze? What are you doing? And I'm like, no, no. But yeah.
That is a proper comedy moment. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's a wrap. That's the end of the show. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Thank you so much, Freeze. It's been such a pleasure.
It's been wonderful having you on.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my
Sorry,
gosh.
I talk over people a lot and in circles.
I didn't think you did.
I feel like I do all the time. Like, I feel like by the end of my conversation, I'm like, what was I starting the conversation about? Because we ended up here. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's really, it's hard to believe it's been like 3 hours as well. We normally go for about 2. It's flown by. It's really been so much fun. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
Thank you for sharing some of your community with us as well. So hello, everyone. We do this every month with a different guest. This is episode 13. Also, thank you so much, Hippo, for putting up with me, basically.
It really is a fucking pain in the ass dealing with you, man.
I know it is. I'm sorry.
You're
it's so
bloody
late
gorgeous,
as
so
well.
I had to do it. You know.
I know.
Yeah. We went for that face.
We've got a bit of an announcement. I think we should probably do it now. So next episode, our guest. We're not going to say when it is yet because we're not 100% sure, but our guest is going to be the Hairy Hippo. What? I hear you ask. How on earth could the guest be the Hairy Hippo?
Nobody said anything.
Yeah, well, I mentioned this.
They're probably like, I don't care. It's fine.
I'm sure I mentioned this to you.
No way.
I mentioned this. I'm sure I mentioned it. Did I not? Should we keep this in the bag then?
No, go with it.
Right.
Go with
I guess it's going to be the Hairy Hippo because our co-host is going to be Suko Nami.
Who's a very good streamer, by the way. Well worth watching. He's absolutely fantastic.
We've had him on the show before. He's been
And you'll love his mouth, by the way, because he's Scottish.
Yeah, he's Scottish.
I'll be watching it the entire time.
Yeah.
So
I did the same. Different reasons, but yeah.
That's the plan at least. We'll see whether or not it actually happens, but it should do. We will, everything's sort of I've sorted out with Suko Nami. We're not sure yet whether it's going to be a more regular thing, but we're going to sort of have him on, see how it goes, and we're going to have Hairy Hippo as our guest, and we'll have a proper chat with Hairy Hippo and let him do a little bit of explaining about himself. So we'll get that all done. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting episode. Mm-hmm. I am very much an onion. Some layers.
Yeah, we're going to strip them off.
I still hold on to that.
We're going to strip down those layers.
Well, there'll definitely be some stripping, but that'll be after the stream.
But no, it's honestly, it's been an absolute joy. So thank you very much indeed, everyone. I think that's everything to say. I mean, there's the customary and very much mandatory. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Ding!
Notification bell.
Yep.
Notification bell.
And if you're watching live on Twitch, then by all means follow. We do one of these every month. We all stream, all 3 of the people that you see here. Hairy Hippo maybe not quite so much, but he's still about. So if you like the people that you see here, which I'm sure you do, you're here, then please do follow the Hairy Hippo and Mrs. Freeze 17. And if you're feeling really politely pushing the boat out, you can follow me as well. So we'll call it. You do it. Do it. Do it now. Do it. So we'll call it a day there. Thank you again so much, Mrs. Freeze. It really has been an absolute pleasure. And we will see you guys next time. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Chattisfying.